Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
Scam Factory, the explosive new true crime podcast from Wondery, exposes a multi-billion-dollar criminal empire. Every suspicious text you ignore masks a huge network of compounds where thousands are held captive and forced to scam others under the threat of death. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you so much for joining us here. Part 5 of Evel Knievel.
Golly.
And we're not done yet. He's still got some life in him, this Evel, and there's a whole lot. Vince McMahon is going to come into this story. Put it that way.
What?
Did you expect that?
Why not?
Why not? And is there ever and Elvis, too. Elvis and Vince McMahon. Is there ever a better meeting of two minds than Vince McMahon and Evel Knievel? Well, I'm full of shit. No, I'm more full of shit than you. No, buddy. I'm the most full of shit. That would have been a great conversation, but we'll talk all about that and more. Show note, next week, we are going to take an Evel Knievel break for a week and do the Scummies. The 2025 Scummy Awards are coming. Wow. That's right, the pageantry. We figure we'll put that in the middle of Evel here to break it up a little bit. And, we're going to look back on the past year and see who's going to win all the awards, who's going to be number one, the scumbag of the year, who is going to get that title. We'll find out. Also, I love who is most likely to find and kill us is another one that I enjoy. We'll take a look at all of that and more, so check that out. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com, get all your merch, get tickets for live show. Virtual live show is going to take place on April 19th. It's a Saturday night. It'll be available for 2 weeks after that, and that is the 420 virtual live show, just like a regular live show, but you're in your house there, or wherever the hell you want to be. I don't care. Buy the show. I don't give a shit where you watch it. You can watch it underground with 4 puppies. I don't give a shit. That's a great time. Do it up. Check that out. Also, tickets to live shows. Chicago and St. Louis are up next for Small Town Murder, so check those out. Yeah. A lot of fun there. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, get your Patreon. Patreon.com/crimeinsports is where you get all of the bonus material. Yeah. And holy shit, is it worth it. Anybody $5 a month or above, you get an entire hundreds of bonus episodes right away. And then you get new ones every other week. You're going to get one Crime and Sports, one Small Town Murder. And what the hell? You get it all for $5. So this week, what we're going to do for Crime and Sports, we are going to do Volume 2 of Sports Songs.
God damn.
We still have a bunch left, and we're going to do that.
Right.
And then for Small Town Murder, this is a great story. It's a guy named Louis Carlucci, and he's known as Con Juan.
What?
Con Juan, and is hilarious. He's the con man Casanova, they call him.
Oh.
He's this guy. He's this super hilarious Italian guy from the 80s in New York who just it's awful what he did. He conned all these women and was married to 5 women at the same time, and the whole city was looking for him, and he had disguises and shit. It's hilarious. We'll talk. He's a nut. We'll talk all about that and more. That is patreon.com/crimeinsports. So get all of that.
Get your Patreon.
Get your Patreon, and then get a shout out at the end of the show as well. Jimmie will go ahead and mispronounce your name because what the hell?
You deserve it.
You deserve it. Thank you so much. That said, Evel Knievel, Part 5. Let's dive right in. Evel, when we left off, people were just kind of saying what a con man he was. And I think the last thing we left off with was him, quote, letting people know he was a big dick. Yeah. I think that's how we left off. Yeah, he's a big swinging dick, spending money, and all that kind of shit. So we'll start off in that vein with Evel being famous and enjoying it. Here we go. This is from the book, the Evel book here. A story, it says. Knievel went for a business dinner one night in New York with the people from Ideal. That's the toy company that's making his mega popular toy. After the toy was established as a hit, the restaurant, Laurent, on East 56th Street was based, fancy, was based in the dining rooms, based on the dining rooms found in grand European hotels. It featured an adventurous menu, dark wood on the walls, a fancy-ass fucking place that...
You've seen the kind.
Dress code kind of play.
Yeah,
oh, no.
beautiful.
Dark wood on the walls, ornately carved high ceilings, 3 climate-controlled cellars with over 45,000 bottles of wine. It was a place to see and be seen, a New York restaurant of the moment. And they go on to say a dress code is required, all men to wear a jacket and a tie.
Okay.
So the toy executives wondered if this might force them to go somewhere else because, Evil shows up in his crazy high-collared, Elvis gear. He doesn't show up looking like an investment banker by any stretch.
He's in a leather onesie.
Yeah, with his tight on his balls, showing his ball bulge. So they said they didn't know what happened. So they said he'd be in his regular high-collared Carnaby Street look, but he accepted a jacket and tie from the restaurant's collection, as they'll do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He sat down at the head of a long table in the middle of the restaurant. The out-of-place jacket and the location of the table drew the attention of everyone in the room to him because he's Evel Knievel.
Yeah, he's got a dress jacket over leathers. That's ridiculous.
Well, he didn't wear the leathers out. He had this those.
Yeah, he's got something dumb.
It was basically the leathers, but made of like a fabric. It was. He had those big, crazy, high Elvis collars, and he wore that shit every day. He's nuts. So they said he was clearly the guest of honor, a man who created a buzz of conversation wherever he went. He clearly was Evel Knievel. A number of diners came past and asked for his autograph. He signed, he talked, he was gracious and loud. Another famous man came to the table. Excuse me, Evel, he said. I'm Richard Burton. That was Liz Taylor's husband.
Yeah.
And, he was a giant fucking movie star at that time, too. Huge. He said, I just saw you here and I wanted to say hello. I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I sit with my movie star wife and we watch you jump shit on a motorcycle on Saturday afternoons.
I like you.
So they said that was Richard Burton, the British actor. That was Richard Burton, sometimes husband of Elizabeth Taylor, because they were married several times. Sure. That was Richard Burton, probably as well known as anyone in the world at the moment. Knievel said, quote, "Well, Dick, nice to meet you. Let me introduce you to the people in my toy company."
He called him Dick.
Well, Dick. Someone has to introduce themselves as Dick before you start throwing dick at them, I think, right?
Yeah. I don't think you just random swing that one.
Like in all situations, dick needs to be voluntary, It can't be can't coerce or put dick upon someone.
You don't force that on anyone.
A few minutes later, a message came from another famous person, Salvador Dali, the surrealist
I know
artist.
the name, and it sounds amazing.
Salvador Dali's
He's a painter,
guy.
right?
Yes, he is. I'm going to tell you. You'll know exactly who he is when I tell you. Remember the Garbage Pail Kid?
Yeah.
With the clock hanging over the tree branch? That's a take on his painting.
Surreal.
With the clock melting shit, looks like.
Yeah.
He's the guy who...
Surreal something?
He's a surrealist artist. Yeah.
That's why. Yeah.
He does the...
So the name of that card was Surreal Neil or some shit like that.
That's how you can introduce Salvatore Dali to people who know shit about culture like me. I was like, the Garbage
Pail Kids.
Hey, you knew exactly what I was talking about. See? That's what I mean.
There was one.
He's the guy with the melting clock over the tree branch. That's his famous painting. Known for his eccentric waxed mustache, for his paintings of limp wristwatches, for his flamboyance, was seated in a rear banquette. This is like Liberace with paint. Basically, this guy. He was one of the 3 or 4 most successful living artists in the world, and he would like to meet Evel Knievel.
What the fuck?
Sure, Knievel said. Send him over. Come on over, Sal.
Come by.
Let's do this. The toy executives hurriedly told Knievel that Dali was an old... He didn't know who the fuck he was. He had no idea who he was, Evel Knievel. He's a Butte, Montana drunk safecracker.
Have you heard of Garbage Pail Kids?
Yeah, Evil. There's going to be these things in 10 years that are going to blow kids' minds. So they said he's an older man. He's a very well-known. He's very famous, they're telling him, and he created a style of art that's popular, and he's this, important guy.
He was the founder of that shit?
They said, or one of, the main people.
The one that made it popular, mainstream.
Yeah, I'm sure other people were fucking painting melting shit before him, but he did it the best. He's the best melted shit painter there is. So they said, perhaps it would be better if you went over to him, maybe, and hung out with him for a minute, because it's going to be awkward for him. He's like 85 years old,
Okay.
So he said, yeah, right, sure. If he's that famous or whatever, I'll go talk to him.
Bring him a toy.
So they said he was gone for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then he came back. They said, how'd it go? And he said, great. I told him I bought one of his paintings and had it back home in Butte. He liked that.
He seemed to appreciate that bullshit line.
He liked that. So they said, pause, double pause. They said, the man who jumped across the lines of parked cars on a motorcycle said, quote, those artists are some of the strangest people I've ever seen. Yeah, he's real strange, Evil.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. March 3rd, 1972, at the Cow Palace in California, there up by San Francisco, he made a successful jump and tried to come to a quick stop because of a short landing area and suffered a broken back and a concussion after not only getting thrown off his motorcycle, but then being run over by it.
Oh, my God. He made the jump.
He made the jump, but got thrown.
Couldn't stop.
Tried to stop short, went over the handlebars, and then the bike ran him over, which is the worst of every world you could imagine, I think, right there. I don't even know what that's the equivalent of right there.
Probably painting something amazing and being famous for it because of garbage pail kids. That's right.
Well, famous with us.
That sucks. Yeah.
Famous with idiots. We're idiots. Let's be honest here. We're dumb. Like a lot of people would know probably more than just that one painting also from him. So,
you said his name in it. I was like, that guy's famous, I think.
Yeah, you knew his name. See?
He'd probably depressed. He'd probably be very depressed if he knew that I said that.
Well, yeah, he's been dead for about, I think, maybe 45 years, so he's probably not.
Is that right?
He's probably wouldn't hurt his feelings that bad at this point.
All right, that's good.
So
him and
he's been long
llama
dead.
are the only ones named Dolly, except for Parton, right?
I think that's it. I think that's the one.
There's only 3 of them.
Well, he's DALI, Dolly.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's not like Dolly, like a
the llama is HLI, right?
Yeah, that is all. Yeah, Dolly is that? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. So yeah, they're all different spellings of Dolly, but they're all the same Dolly.
That's helpful to make it unique.
Maybe Dolly could be the new Dalai Lama. She could be the Dalai Lama. I think that would be great. She's nice and kind and everything. I think she could pull it off probably. Right?
I'd wear that shirt, a llama with her head on it.
Yeah, that'd be great. The Dalai Lama. There she is. I'm sure that exists.
It exists.
It's got to exist.
I'm not unique.
No, we're certainly not unique for thinking of that. So March 27th, 1982 here. He's all fucked up, by the way, at this point. He's hurting. He's in shit condition. He was injured again here. He lost control of his motorcycle while jumping over 13 cars at a show at the Michigan State Fairgrounds. They said he was in satisfactory condition now, but he was dragged 80 feet by the motorcycle, which then crashed into a wall with him. He got hooked on it.
Oh, my God.
So he got dragged by the bike, and then the bike crashed into a wall with him, which, of course, flung him into a wall, too, and I'm sure the bike fell on him and everything else. He was carried to the ambulance, and he said, they put the microphone up to him, and he said, I'm all right.
I'll do it again.
He was paid $50,000 to make 5 jumps at the show. So, not bad at all. And they said he's supposed to perform again in 2 weeks, and Evil said he's going to do it. Even though he's half fucking dead here. So May 5th, 1972, there is a listing, which is very unfortunate placing here. These are movie listings. So his movie Evel Knievel is playing, but there's also a movie called Kidnapped playing. And so, and it's right above it. It says Kidnapped, Evel Knievel, which sounds like the story of him kidnapping his wife.
Yeah.
So, all right, a little more on the rocket bike, because I'm fascinated by this rocket bike.
He's still threatening this goddamn bike.
He is. And I'm telling you, you'll be shocked at the person who's going to make it a fucking reality. It's amazing.
Oh,
it couldn't be any more. If I was writing this like a weird fan fiction, I'd go, no, that's too much. I literally, like, if I was telling one of my bullshit backstories, I'd go, nah, no one's going to buy that. That's too much.
Burt Reynolds.
It's too weird. So May 6th, 1972, Knievel sponsored the 2nd annual Snake River Motocross Championship races on his leased property. Now, he's got that lease. He didn't buy it, but he's got a piece of leased property, and invited the press to the side of the canyon to see the prototype and witness the first test firings of the smaller rockets.
Okay.
They have 4 bikes at this point. They have a prototype life-size And the only thing that makes it a bike is they put 2 wheels on it, so it's still a cycle. Otherwise, it shouldn't even be a motorcycle.
It's two
It's
wheels,
a rocket.
and that's the only reason.
That's it. They just did, and the only reason they're there is literally just so it's still technically a motorcycle. I don't know why the hell he gives a shit, but whatever.
Who gives a fuck?
Who cares? You're going to fire yourself. It's even dumber to just do it in a pod. It's even funnier.
Yeah. You're about to eject out of it anyway. Who gives a shit?
Who cares? So then they have 3 smaller rockets that are not the full size, that are just
scaled down. Yeah.
Everything is scaled down mathematically to test and see if it works. Okay, so this is what they're doing. Malawicki, who's the guy building the rocket bike or Sky Cycle, whatever you want to call it, he said that he estimated that $20,000 had been spent so far, none of the money on a salary for himself. So he hasn't been paid at all for this.
He's doing this for free.
Essentially. Well, he's doing it under the condition. He was hopeful about the test, the book goes on to say, because he said Knievel had promised him a $5,000 bonus, plus he'd pay all the expenses if the rocket worked.
Okay.
So this is what's fucked up, though. Malawicki says the deal had changed over the years. It started out that I would get 30% of any profits. Remember that in the beginning?
Yeah.
Then it was 20, then it was 10, then it was 5.
Then it was a guarantee of some cash.
Then he said, now I just wanted the bonus and expenses and go from there. He's like, I'll just pay me something. He said he felt a major problem with dealing with Knievel was being the same age as him. So Knievel didn't look at him as like an older guy who knew any better than him. It was just some dummy I could have went to high school with, even though he's a scientist or whatever. He said the Daredevil never fully believed in him, never gave him respect. Early in the development, Malawicki hired a scientist named Bob Trow to provide the engine that would propel the rocket. They said, shocked by estimates in the millions from aerospace companies to develop a jet propulsion system, because they're making up a totally new thing.
Sure.
So, a major aerospace company, they're going to want to like do all sorts of math and testing and, all sorts of different shit. Whereas this guy's like, well, we'll put a rocket on it and shoot it across the canyon. If a small one works, the bigger one should work, right?
It'll be fine. If we do it 3 times on everything's fine.
It should be fine. He had been referred to Trow, a one-time colleague of rocket pioneer Robert Goddard. Trow was a Cold War expert who contributed to the development of the Polaris and Thor missiles. A man with a scientific imagination that had few boundaries. Trow had been fooling around with steam-powered rocket engines for drag racer Walt Arfons. A Sky Cycle interested him. Interesting. Malawicki said,
so he's going to use the motor from the drag racers and put it on this and shoot it in the air?
No. He's just saying he likes doing shit like this. This type of shit interests him, is basically it. So
you ever seen Jets vs. Funny Cars? That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. That shit is... Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Oh, my God. And it burns your eyes.
Dude, it's crazy.
No, you can't breathe when they're out. It's nuts.
Those fucking drag racers are nuts. It's just...
They're out of their minds.
This whole race is 3/4 of a second, and there you go. All right.
500 miles an hour. Done.
Okay, I think that guy won by a little bit. I'm not sure.
Did you blink? I blinked. I missed it.
Can't tell.
My eyes are on fire.
And that's the most expensive thing you could possibly do. It's so expensive. Rod had a fucking drag racing team, and he's like, it's
just
a
funny car,
just dumping money. Yeah, you just
for the fuel.
It's just on fire going out. Everything's breaking all the time because this engine isn't supposed to. It's not going to last like that. You're firing it up on all cylinders.
You can only run that way for 35 seconds, and you're only doing it for 5 at a time.
It's crazy. It's fucking crazy. So Malawicki said, I didn't even know his background in the beginning. He had done all these things with rockets. He was famous. I just knew he'd been involved with the drag racer. He didn't even know he was like a famous rocket guy. So this guy, though, was 55 years old, so he was 21 years older than Knievel and Malawicki.
Now we're going.
He was an average-sized man with a no-nonsense crew cut, a man of strong opinions. Knievel was always polite in dealing with him. He saw him as a
punched in the mouth.
He saw him as a no bullshit guy, real guy.
Sure.
Trow's words to Knievel seemed to matter. Malawicki's words to Knievel were the start of an argument much of the time. So the concept of the rocket had stayed the same. Malawicki had tried to build something that resembled a motorcycle. The prototype and the models each had 2 wheels, which kept the cycle, legitimate. They looked very much like rockets, however, with 3 fins on the back and a tapered nose in the front. The X1 was an impressive-looking machine. The plan for the jump was that the rocket would be ignited, travel in increasing speeds up a ramp, shoot off the ramp into the air above the canyon. Halfway across, 2 solid propellant rockets would be ignited, doubling the power, which would ensure that the rocket traveled into the airspace on the other side. That'll make sure it gets you across.
Okay, so one's for the boost and lift off, the other 2 are to keep us steady.
Yeah, it's like Donkey Kong Country. Remember that game?
Yeah.
When you're in the air, you do the boom, and then you hit that thing and take off, and you can get over that big
and keep
chasm.
Going.
Yeah, that's all it is. And then look for Diddy. Oh, that poor Diddy. Oh,
yeah.
Poor little Diddy Kong
Kong.
He's a bad mistaken identity now. He's like, nah, man, come on.
He's out there having King Knight
trying
nights. I don't know what they were.
Trying to fucking help, man. This is crazy.
King Knights in hotels with Diddy Kong.
A little Diddy Kong. So, so they would do all that. It would be ignited, doubling the power. It would shoot over. Where Knievel would eject from his cockpit and parachute to the ground.
Okay.
Another chute would also be released from the rocket. Man and rocket would land somewhat simultaneously, and that's the trick.
So the rocket's got a parachute too.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, everything's got, so it doesn't just explode when it hits the ground.
On impact, yeah.
So they said the test of the smaller rockets was a chance to see how well the theory matched up with the reality. I mean, that's anybody could put that together and go, this is what we hope's going to happen.
That'll do it.
I don't fucking know. So the X-1 was present only for show. That's the actual prototype of the full size. Knievel posed inside of it. He would have to be on his knees in the cockpit, not sitting, to properly work the controls, which sounds
right, because you got to get to the
horrifying. Imagine sitting on your knees, going 300 miles an hour, and then shooting off a ramp.
I'm not doing it. No.
Fucking crazy. The test rockets were all the same, affording the chance to test different trajectories. They were ignited. Now, if you had just computer modeling, you could do it in 2 minutes. Yeah. They were ignited one after another by Knievel, who pressed a button, surrounded by local kids holding their hands over their ears. The first rocket, launched at a 28-degree angle, was almost across the canyon when the parachute deployed.
Nice.
It's too short, though. That's not good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, well, okay.
They said
so he wants to get both him and the thing
over, and then you do it, because it had said then it fell a few feet short and into the canyon. Yeah, this will get you.
Oh, that's not good.
That's bad. This will get you. I mean, you'll parachute into the canyon, but if you hit a wall, you're going to be in deep shit.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah. That's going to hurt, and it'll probably fuck the parachute up and then make you fall the rest of the way.
Yeah, then you probably fall a little more rapid.
Yeah, I'm picturing Wile E. Coyote, and it's probably what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So they said the angle was adjusted to 45 degrees for the second launch, which is a huge 28 to 45 is a big difference in math.
Yeah, that's over 20 degrees more. That's big.
They're like, yeah, let's try it here. Wait, no, you know what? Completely different. So they had no idea what they were doing.
That is steep.
A camera was also added. Okay. The heavier rocket shot across the canyon and was traveling so fast that when the parachute came out, the chute was torn off the thing. It was going too fast.
No.
Too fast. So you don't want to have that happen either.
Yeah.
The speeding rocket cleared the canyon edge easily, kept flying, and landed hard and out of eyesight. They're like, holy shit, that 45's too much.
It's way over there.
Can we try like a 30-6 or something?
32,
Can we meet in the
maybe?
middle? This is crazy. We almost made it on the first one, right? So this thing, he shot it like into Montana. He just shot it out of Idaho here. So that's interesting. They said not a great outcome if you were inside the cockpit, obviously.
Yeah, what if that chute doesn't come out?
They'd have to go travel miles to find his corpse bent up in there on its knees.
But I mean, kind of a cool way to go out.
I think that's what he's going for here. This is a cool
if
way.
I die, this is going to be a burner.
In a rocket that goes out of sight and then explodes. That sounds awesome. Yeah, that's
that last David Blaine bit that he did where he went up with balloons on one hand and then cut the tie and then free fell for a long way and then opened to shoot and he landed great. I didn't want him to land.
No,
that
David
I
Blaine.
want to see.
We've seen enough of him.
100% splatter.
We've seen enough of David Blaine too.
Yeah.
This rocket. I mean, fucking Gene Hackman is disappointed he didn't think of this. I'm sure. Whatever. We don't know what happened to him yet as of recording.
Yeah, this would be a much better way than living 95 and just dying suspicious.
If I live to 95, still smoking and drinking coffee and everything like that, you can absolutely shoot me over a canyon.
Driving.
Dude, shoot my ass over a fucking canyon and explode me. I don't care. I don't care.
The man's still driving. That's crazy.
That is scary is what that is, but yeah.
It's frightening. I mean, that's how wide open New Mexico is. 95-year-olds can go pick up their smokes and coffee at the gas station.
All right, the final rocket minus the camera, so now it's lighter, was ignited at a 45-degree angle. So like maybe it was too much weight. Okay. Shot it off. So, okay, everything seemed to work perfectly. The parachute deployed. The rocket slowly, safely dropped to Earth. A father and his son found it and returned it 3 hours later in fine shape. That's what they're looking for.
Yeah.
All right. The rocket did what it was supposed to do. It was a success, Malowicki said. The success, though, brought about a confrontation that had become inevitable. Malowicki wanted to be paid now. See, look, made my shit.
I did it. Now you do it.
Expenses and salary. 4 years of increasing edginess had left the daredevil and engineer in bad positions. That handshake in the hospital room in Phoenix was history from long ago. Malowicki wanted the $5,000 bonus and expenses. He's been doing this out of his pocket, for Christ's sake, making all this shit. Evel balked, of course, because he's evil.
He's not paying.
No.
Yeah.
He came up with various reasons why the engineer should not receive either the bonus or expenses.
Nothing.
Nothing. You should do this for free. Malowicki said he would not work on the project anymore unless he was paid. You know.
I mean, you're kind of getting paid.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who you are.
For people who did this for 4 years without getting paid, it's a motherfucker. Yeah, it sucks. So Knievel continued to balk, and several weeks later, or a couple of weeks later, Malowicki quit at the same time Knievel fired him, apparently. That's how that worked. Knievel called Bob Trow the next day and asked if this guy would take over the project. Trow said he would. He said he even had some ideas here. Malowicki was pissed off, so he went across the street to work for the competition, who is Super Joe Einhorn. Super Joe Einhorn here is
Super Joe.
He's the next want to be evil here.
The next evil.
Super Joe. All right. So this is funny here. There's an article from May 19th, 72, and the headline is Evel Knievel holds the hearts of youthful daredevils.
Okay.
Now, this is a big thing that happens. They actually call this Evel Knievel syndrome.
Yeah.
It's in medical journals at the time.
Really?
Yes, because it is so prevalent everywhere. Every ER in the country has an Evel Knievel file of kids who are fucking mangled who said they were trying to imitate Evel Knievel.
Milk crate kids, yeah.
He's literally the reason why don't try this on TV. Don't try this at home.
Yeah.
He's the guy why they came up with that, because people were trying it at home like a motherfucker.
Wow.
And this makes, jackass shit look safe, what these people are doing. At least
what happened most of the time is that we put plywood on something that it poorly made ramps. And when you go up the ramp, the crate or whatever's holding it slides and the wood comes down, and then you slam into the crate, and then over the handlebars you go.
Yeah, you put fucking 4 paint cans down and tried to put a fucking slab of plywood on it and jump your friends, and everyone got hurt. That's the problem.
Every one of us.
The ramp, if the ramps were constructed better, there's way less injuries.
Yeah.
Way less.
I mean, fuck the toy. You could have sold ramps and made $1 billion.
Forget it. When I was like 13 and lived in Arizona for that brief time, and when I was 13, there was a spot we'd go to it's somewhere between 32nd and 40th Street on Thunderbird. I don't remember, but there's one of the drainage things, one of the runs through Phoenix.
Yeah.
And this particular one just had an amazing fucking angle where you could
good trajectory.
Well, because it turned a little bit, so you could come straight at it with a shitload of speed and not have to like turn to go up the side, because it turned. So you'd go bang and you'd hit it, and you'd go so high you'd just throw your fucking bike, and it was too much. You know what I mean? You would have destroyed it if you landed on it. So you just throw your bike and try not to break your legs on the way down.
Megan Stoner was a young, passionate Republican and a self-proclaimed advocate for mental health. But behind her public persona lurked a master of deception. I'm Tiffany Reese, host of Something Was Wrong. In season 22, we're diving into the twisted world of a con artist who's been allegedly scamming and making false claims for over a decade. From the US to Canada, Megan Stoner has left a trail of devastation for her victims. But after a brief period of incarceration, she's now back out on the streets. And although she's free now, we're actively working with law enforcement to further justice for the victims of her alleged crimes. This isn't just another true crime story. It's a wake-up call about trust, deception, and the power of community to fight back. Follow Something Was Wrong on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of Something Was Wrong Season 22 ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
What if everything we thought we knew about justice was wrong? In This Is Actually Happening's new series, A World Beyond Revenge, we explore a radical idea that justice can be about healing, not just punishment. Through 5 powerful stories, we meet people who've experienced unimaginable harm and those who caused it as they come together to seek something radical. Healing. From a man tortured for a crime he didn't commit to a woman who misidentified her attacker. These stories will change the way you think about justice, forgiveness, and the possibility of a better world. Follow This Is Actually Happening on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to This Is Actually Happening ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
So that's, and that had nothing to do with Evel Knievel. So if you put a thought of let's imitate something in our heads, we would have killed ourselves. So this article goes on to say, when the worried mother asked her 10-year-old son how he suffered a cut forehead that required stitches, the boy answered that he fell off his bike imitating Evel Knievel. Uh-huh. The mother could understand the first part of the answer. Falling off the bike is an everyday thing for little boys, normal. But imitating Evel Knievel, she's like, what the hell are you talking about? So they said that took some explanation for the mother's benefit. But if you're 9 or older or read the sports pages, you know about Evel Knievel. Yeah. Little League baseball players may want to grow up to be Vita Blue, Willie Stargell, or Roberto Clemente, but youths who dig motorcycles, pop wheelies on bicycles, or affect sissy bars on their bikes also dig 33-year-old Robert Craig Knievel.
There it is.
Yeah, the young man with the cut forehead was imitating what Evel does best, even down to hurting himself, ironically, by going up a plank near some new homes, flying through space and landing on another plank a few feet away. One difference is Evel jumps off ramps and spans great distances. The young lad was on a bike. The boy was jumping all of 3 feet at the most. That's all he was doing. It's just a little jump over something.
Just a hop.
Yeah, but he didn't make it. So that's the problem.
He missed it?
Yeah, the kid's all fucked up, cut his forehead.
Yeah.
So they said all of these kids it's happening all the time. They said, this is from the book, the best reports of the famous daredevil's popularity came from the emergency rooms. The children of America, mostly adolescents, but some younger, some much younger, would arrive with cuts and contusions, compound fractures, and missing teeth. Every now and then, a badly injured internal organ. The dialogue between doctor and patient would always be the same. How'd you hurt yourself? Well, I saw this guy on television.
Have you heard of Evel?
In Minneapolis, a 9-year-old cleared 5 garbage cans with his bicycle, but landed wrong and needed 15 stitches and $400 worth of dental surgery. In Boise, Idaho, a 16-year-old, he should be in a car, first of all.
Yeah, what are you doing on a bike?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, no chick is going to jump a bike with you. You're 16. Find somebody to finger. Get out of here. Do something. I had no interest in a bike at 16 years old. None. A 16-year-old cleared a ditch with his bike, but struck a house and suffered a severe concussion.
Oh, Jesus.
That's a good Evel impersonation, though. That's good Evel. How'd you fucking misapply that math? Yeah. I think I can land it and stop. No, I'll just hit a house in midair is a big difference. In New York City, a 9-year-old drove his bike off a ramp and was impaled by his handlebars, suffering grave liver damage.
Oh, God damn it.
In Salt Lake City, a 7-year-old girl, serious head trauma. In Brooklyn, a 6-year-old trying to clear 3 milk cases, critical condition. In Muncie, a 7-year-old impact so hard that his backbone, quote, acted like a knife and cut his pancreas in half. Oh, my God. That might be the worst fucking thing I've ever heard.
How do you wreck so hard that your skeleton breaks shit?
That your pancreas and your spine are in contact with each other? Yeah, you're twisted. You got to be twisted.
Your pancreas was driven across the serrated area of your spine and split it.
Holy shit. On and on it went. In Boston, 3 young doctors started writing down the case histories for the injuries they witnessed at Boston City Hospital. Yeah. The reports were the same as everywhere else. Case 1. MC, that's initials, 14 years old, had lacerations of the face and buccal fractures of the right digital radius and ulna, had accepted a dare to ride his bicycle over a plank pitched against sawhorses to land on a plank on the other side. See?
Oh, those...
It's just going to slide. It's not going to work.
And those are so steep. If you've got a sawhorses are 3 feet high.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. I bet they didn't have like 20 sandbags on it so it wouldn't move. This is not good. He came up short. Case 2, MB, 15, had fractures on both of his right and left radius and a fracture of his mandibular symphysis. He pretty much had tried the same stunt as Case 1, except he did it on a motorbike.
No.
Like, that's going to hold.
I'm going to do it with something heavier
Dude,
and much faster.
It's one thing to try it with a bicycle, but to be like, this will hold my motorcycle. This sawhorse, it's fine. Yeah, I think it'll work. Case 3, JF, 11, had numerous facial lacerations and 2 missing permanent front teeth. He and his friends had been riding their bikes down a wooden ski jump they built. He landed wrong, shot over the handlebars.
Yeah.
3 doctors, Joel Davin, J.F. O'Connor, and Roy Briggs, wrote a paper on the situation for Pediatrics, the official journal of the American Academy of Pediatrics.
Amazing.
They pointed out the susceptibility of kids to when they see on TV, especially violent, risky acts performed by charismatic, heroic figures. The name of the paper was The Consequences of Imitative Behavior in Children, the Evel Knievel Syndrome. That's how famous he is. There's a medical journal with a syndrome.
I mean, if you see it and it's successful, you figure I can do it too.
I can do it too. He looks like he's doing it pretty easy. But the fucked up part is you see him crash so much.
So much.
You'd be like, he does it all the time. He has a special outfit made for this shit. Like, I'm doing it in my school clothes. I got tough skins on right now. It's the 70s. This guy.
These are dungarees.
Yeah.
He's not going to be good.
He's got a whole outfit for this shit. It seems like it's pretty easy, but no, it's not. It's hard.
You're wearing Chuck Taylors, man. Calm down.
I mean, the balls, though, when we all tried to jump things on our bikes.
We saw people do things like that, and they're wearing protective gear, and we're like, I can do it in shorts.
I can do it in shorts with no helmet.
No helmet.
No pad. We didn't have pads or helmets. No. I couldn't imagine going, and I hate to be like, when we were kids, but we couldn't go to our mom and be like, I'd like bike pads and a helmet. She'd be like, for what?
What are you doing?
Why, are you going to fucking ride it off a plane? What's wrong with you? Shut up and go ride your bike.
What do you need a helmet for? Go ride your bike.
Try not to fall, stupid. What do you that's it.
I already bought you the bike. I don't have any more money.
Yeah, sorry. That bike is going to have to last a while, too. June 22nd, 1972, they say, Evel Knievel is alive and well. Well, at least alive. That's the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, which is fucking hilarious. They're talking about him crashing again here.
Of course.
He does an interview, and he says, I have a broken back. The 5th lumbar lower is broken vertically and spread apart, and there's a depression in the 3rd and 4th. I do have a lot of pain. Okay. I would say so. That sounds
like it, but that also kind of sounds like that Mike Tyson interview.
Yeah. It does.
I got a broken back. It's spinal. I don't know, Evel. I don't know that I believe you.
Evel, he's not. He seems like
forthcoming.
Well, also, he's also just completely full of shit all the time. But the point is, it's plausible because when you see him crash, you go, "Holy fuck!" He could have. No matter what injuries you say happen, it's believable.
Sure.
If you crash into a wall. He said, "This is Evel. There are 3 mysteries to life: where we came from, what do we do, why we do what we do, and where we're going. I guess I was made to do what I do." There you go. Oh, that man.
Like old dusty trail advice.
That's what he's trying. Yeah, absolutely. He says that concentration is a must. That's the big thing here. All right, let's do it in their own words here because I like this. This is just funny. Let's have Evel Knievel in his insane words, in their own words, quote, I go to a football game and I see those guys crossing themselves. The darn fools shouldn't be praying. They should be thinking about what they're going to do. I'm a God-fearing man, and before I go to the racetrack, I make my peace with God. If I haven't made it in 33 years, then I'm not going to make it in 3 or 4 seconds.
Okay.
Which is very logical.
Sure.
Hey, if God doesn't like you by now, it's a little fucking late for that. You should probably think about the plays you're going to run and not fucking praying at this point in time.
Don't wait till Peyton screams Omaha to start the crossing, man.
There's a reason Tim Tebow sucked in the NFL. He was too busy praying. Not busy enough watching fucking film. That's the difference. Sorry. You got to dedicate yourself.
Championship rings.
How much time do you think Tom Brady spent praying in his whole career? Not nearly as much as watching film, I have a feeling. Whereas
not nearly as much as Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow is spending all his time praying and suppressing gay fucking tendencies, I'm sure, because that's why he's praying so much and acting. I'm a virgin because, it's just God. It's not that I don't want to have sex with women at all, and I'm putting this off as long as humanly possible.
Especially
because I don't want to admit I'm gay.
Around. How do you not?
So I don't know what the hell's going on. Yeah, he was dating attractive women and all kinds of shit like that. Yeah. He says, we've been shooting a documentary film on the canyon jump for 3.5 years. It's all completed except for the last 11 minutes. And that last 11 minutes is the life insurance policy for my wife and 3 children. Okay. He says, if I do splat onto the other side at 350 miles an hour, don't say I was crazy or an idiot. Just say Evel Knievel kept his word. As a crazy idiot, I think would be, yeah. So anyway, he says if I make it, he's going to grab 2 handfuls of dirt and thank God he's alive, and then retire and play golf the rest of his life.
Oh, he's looking to get $50 million for this.
That's it. And he said, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be a big deal. He said, and he's worth every penny. He said, there's a reason why I make more in one day than Vida Blue, was a great Hall of Fame pitcher, makes in a year. There's a reason why I've made $2 or $3 million doing what I do, but I can't tell you what it is. You'll have to come to the track and see for yourself.
He thinks he's worth. Vida's got a talent, man. You don't have any fucking talent.
But it takes 18 guys on the field to get all those people to come watch that.
Yeah.
This guy just says, I'm Evel Knievel, and people show up. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't think anyone's showing up to watch Vida throw balls against a fucking wall with a square drawn on it. You know what I'm saying?
This one-man white trash heroes, one-man circus is doing it all.
What he is. So here we'll talk about the copycats a little bit, because when he was making $2,500 and spending $4,000 on hospital bills, nobody looked at that, saw it as a great business model, and tried to imitate it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the profit margin is real slim.
This is a tight profit margin, worse than a restaurant, I'm telling you. So otherwise, though, once he starts getting famous now, he's in every newspaper, on all these TV shows and everything like that. Now people are like, well, fuck, this is lucrative.
There it is.
I'll do that too. So they said one of the byproducts of success, an annoying byproduct to Knievel, was that the other people had started to do what he did. New motorcycle jumpers seemed to appear on the scene every month, fearless characters fueled by the same economic desperation that Knievel had in the beginning, more than willing to risk their lives for the same tenuous benefits that he received. So it makes sense. They said there was no need to play in the minor leagues or sing in front of a string of roadhouses or sit in a classroom bored to perfect a talent in this business. Buy a motorcycle, get some leathers, find some racetrack owner who needed one more attraction, line up some cars in a ramp, and fucking there you go. That's it. Yeah. Become famous or kill yourself. Those are the options. But you can do it. Bob Gill, a 28-year-old guy from St. Petersburg, Florida, had already jumped a canyon, Cajun Canyon, outside New Orleans. It's sea level down there. What the fuck? How deep could a canyon be? It would be underwater. So they said it was 60 feet deep, which is...
Is there really?
I don't know.
A levee?
It has to be some kind of weird, a dam has to be set up or something. 152 feet wide on a Kawasaki 400. This is 3 weeks before that Snake River test that we talked about with the Rockets. He would jump a fleet of rider rental trucks for a television commercial the next year. Rex Blackwell and Gary Davis out of Phoenix performed in tandem as the Flying Cycles. They roared at the same line of cars from different ends of the venue, hit the 2 ramps at the same time, and hopefully passed each other in midair and then landed safely going the opposite directions. A 21-year-old named Bob Pliso from Ocala, Florida, promised to break all jumping records. A guy named Ted Keeper in Chicago drove around in a school bus that said, "Ted Keeper jumps cheaper" on the side.
Ha.
$50 is all it took, and he would jump something, he said. "I'll jump whatever you want for $50.
I'll suck your dick if you let
I'll
me.
suck your dick." A blonde 21-year-old from Phoenix, Debbie Lawler, had opened the business to women.
Really?
A former model, she disclosed that she always wore her lucky orange brassiere when she jumped, and obviously that got press attention. And
That'll do it.
well, let's see it. What, are you wearing it now?
My titties are clad in orange.
That's
Come
it.
watch.
The best known of all the copycat jumpers was Super Joe Einhorn. That's the guy who Melowicki went and worked for. A wild character from San Pedro, California. Divorced and broke, he truly had followed Knievel's route to fame, especially the part about stopping in assorted hospitals along the way. He had been in some spectacular crashes. At the Cow Palace, someone had spilled a soft drink in the lobby, and Einhorn's front wheel hit the spill in his approach and sent him out of control. His heart was pushed farther to the left side of his chest in the crash, and he now says he has to put his hand under his armpit when he recites the Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, God. Holy shit. How the fuck does that happen? Your spine's cutting your... Dude, don't do this. Everybody stop doing this. This is crazy.
It can relocate your heart. Look, your heart has tubes and shit attached to it. Like, pull out an electric socket out of your wall and try to push it over.
Yeah.
You can't do it. There's tubes and shit there.
And this is millions of years of evolution has put it where it needs to be. Don't fucking move it. Don't fuck with it.
Hand in your armpit and make fart noises during the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's a heart fart right there.
That's how much I care.
Oh, in Sacramento, he had landed short, and his Triumph 650 pretty much had disintegrated. In Charleston, South Carolina, he jumped over a building, landed on his head, and broke his wrist, ankle, both shoulders, and a thumb.
Wow.
Einhorn said, "You come to, and they're putting something in your eyes," is what he told a reporter. "They're always putting something in your eyes. Strange people are working over you." Then a doctor comes in and sits down and starts reading a list of injuries. He goes on, broken back, dislocated shoulder, punctured lung, all that stuff. You lie there and think, gee, that poor guy. Then it dawns on you that the list is about your own injuries, and then you get scared. So they said the first rule of jumpers was to differentiate themselves from Knievel. Only Debbie Lawler proclaimed that while she was the queen of cycle jumpers, Evel would always be the king. The rest of the jumpers, all they do is try to challenge Evel all the time. That's their big, I challenge Evel Knievel. What the fuck does he need you for? They said they boasted about how their jumps were different and more challenging. Both Gill and Pliso jumped with only a takeoff ramp and no landing ramp, more challenging. Pliso said ramp-to-ramp jumpers are a dime a dozen.
I'm going to jump onto the floor?
Just the floor. Just hit the fucking ground afterwards.
That's crazy.
That is out of control crazy. Einhorn stretched paper across the top of the takeoff ramps between the two poles the way cheerleaders stretched paper in front of the entrance to the field before a big homecoming game. That's his big shtick. So that's why they're different.
Okay.
I put
through some paper.
I put paper up. Oh, okay. That's fine. So 1972 in July, here's an article from Hank Hollingsworth in the Independent, and it says, Super Joe, no fan of Evel Knievel.
Okay.
One of Evel Knievel's fans is not Super Joe Einhorn, who claims the world record motorcycle long-distance jump record, which most of the universe figured belonged to Evel Knievel. Knievel is a fraud, said Super Joe. Okay.
Here we go.
He said,
wrestling.
Yeah, now that's what it is. He wants a challenge, and Knievel keeps talking about things, but he never does them. It sounds like a promo. It really does.
Sure does, yeah.
I do them. I hold the world's ramp-to-ramp jump record of 144 feet, and I'll tell you something, John Cena, this Saturday at WrestleMania, that 144 feet's going to come down on top of you, baby. Which broke what record Knievel reportedly claimed he owned. He said, not only that fact, but I jumped over 14 cars at the Cow Palace. I know Knievel has never done that despite his great claims. Okay. He said, I'll repeat the act Saturday night. I'll definitely jump my cycle over 14 cars, and if I find the terrain is good enough, I may bust my own record and hurdle 15 cars.
I just like doing it.
That's right. He said, I'm so good. I was on the Wide World of Sports. They don't take pikers or frauds on that show. But Evil's been constantly on that show. It's built on their top ratings ever are all Evel Knievel shows.
The only reason they're watching you is because of him.
Yeah, we don't have Evil this week, so here's this dickhead. Maybe he'll kill himself.
Right. Here's a guy you don't know of. Don't worry about his name.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He'll be injured soon. Einhorn said he's been talking about that for 6 years. He always talks about things he's going to do, but he never does them. Frankly, I consider the Grand Canyon a pretty easy jump.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He said, then take the Snake River. He's always talking about jumping that, but he still hasn't. The Grand Canyon, the Snake River, they're all the same. They're easy, but Knievel hasn't jumped either yet. That is funny. He said, I honestly get mad when I read one claim after another that he's made. They're just not true. I challenged that big mouth old timer to a match jump off. I suggested the pot we'd put up was $25,000 apiece. Winner take all. He makes more than that to jump on his own. Why would he do that?
He doesn't need you.
He doesn't understand what level Evil's playing at this point.
Right.
He makes more than that every month on toys. He doesn't need you. This is
doing it alone.
Nothing. So he says he backed off, but there was good reason for him not to accept my challenge. The old man knew he couldn't make it. The old man.
Baiting him.
Super Joe produced his own spectacular last week at a luncheon. He said, I had an armored car with $50,000 in cash in it parked outside the restaurant. Then I had the guards bring in the $50,000 cash to show all those fine people at the luncheon. I then publicly offered another challenge to Evel Knievel to equal my bet and face me on Saturday's program at the Coliseum, and he could have it all if he won. Yeah, he said, if I lose that challenge, I'm broke for a long, long time, but I don't think I've lost it, and I don't think I'd have lost it if he'd had the courage to face me. He said he's only been in it for 2 years, Super Joe.
Oh?
He said, by the way, Knievel's been in it so long, I wasn't born when he started. That shows how old he is.
When he started, I wasn't born.
Oh, man. Knievel pissed off at this, obviously.
Yeah, because he's only in his 30s.
He's
man.
like 34, I think.
Old a grandpa.
I think he's 34 at this point, or 33 or something. And they're like, I wasn't even born when he started. So Knievel, Debbie Lawler was on Wide World of Sports and broke his record at the Houston Astrodome. And Knievel said, I can spit farther than that.
Oh.
But then he realized, this is a mistake, and he invited her to jump in Seattle and gave her a pink mink coat and made a big deal out of her. He's like,
nice move.
Better PR to do it this way than to make fun of her. He appeared in Kansas because she's kissing his ass the whole time, so that's why it's like, hey, don't be mean to her. She's being nice to you.
And even if she was being mean, you'll never win being mean to a woman.
Well, yeah, and she's got tits and a bra, and everyone's going to be, on her side because I don't know. She's probably not as big of an asshole as he is, too. So
you're going to wear a blue thong, Evil? Then you better shut up.
I bet she's not as big a dick, and that's going to make people go, hey. As they said, he appeared at a Kansas City press conference to tell Gil to stop mentioning his name in all his promotions. He was not happy when Einhorn made the $25,000 challenge. The competition promised other jumps. Gil said he had an offer to jump over the Rolling Stones while they played Jumping Jack Flash.
Oh.
Einhorn.
I want to see that.
That's why,
See Mick Jagger take a Sportster to the side of the fucking head.
That would be great. Take a spinning back wheel right to the fucking grill. Einhorn looked on the possibility of jumping across Wall Street in New York from the roof of one building to the roof of another, or maybe he would jump across Niagara Falls, Canadian side to American side, or there's a canyon in Mexico.
These are all spectacular ways to die.
They're all
great.
Flames. So the canyon in Mexico is where Doug Malowicki had become involved and started working with him. He had developed Einhorn. He would help develop Einhorn's craft to clear that canyon. He was thinking about a kite attached to a motorcycle. That sounds like a terrible idea. That's very, again, Wile E. Coyote. That's very Acme. That's god awful. Or what? Yeah, I guess those, like the pedals with the fucking wings. Yeah.
You gonna do those next? Some flappers?
Just try that. How fast can? Let me ask you something, Super Joe. How fast can you pedal? That's the real question here. He said he had thought about that when working on the rocket for Knievel. Investors had to be found. Knievel was not happy. He was not happy with any of this stuff.
Right.
Okay, now, he is into planes now, Evel.
This is his thing.
I mean, cars are fine, Rolls Royces and shit like that, but really, The big time
Personal,
people. Yeah,
private.
big time people have planes. They have planes. Let's step it up here. So they said at two consecutive shows in the summer of 72, planes that were leased to him, not motorcycles, planes, were involved in crashes.
Oh, what?
He's even bad at that. He boasted that by the start of 73, he owned, quote unquote, 8 planes as part of a project to start an air taxi service out of Butte that never developed. Mm-hmm. He now flew to some personal appearances, leaving Ray Gunn or somebody else to drive the big rig. He doesn't do that anymore. First crash happened on July 17th at Coon Rapids, Minnesota, at a drag strip where he was supposed to appear. A twin-engine Beechcraft owned by Knievel, piloted by a professional from Butte, tried to land on the strip and crashed into a trailer also owned by Knievel.
He crashed into
his own trailer. The pilot was fine, but the Daredevil said the damage on the plane was $100,000, which is insane, and the damage on the trailer was $1,000. That's more reasonable. At Knievel's next show, this time the Continental Divide Dragway in Castle Rock, Colorado, he himself crashed a 414 Cessna into a 25-foot flagpole on the side of the drag strip.
Why would he do that? How do you not see that?
He complained that his people hadn't removed the pole like they were supposed to.
Oh, it wasn't supposed to be there.
They didn't pull the fucking flagpole out of the concrete in the ground. Yeah, that might have been difficult.
Yeah. They're supposed to pull fucking
wow. The gathered crowd, the airplane that landed and the crashed on the drag strip was a sudden added part of the attraction. The crowd made the same startled noise it would make if he crashed on his jump. He was not injured and the plane was only slightly injured, a broken wing light. He made the 11-vehicle jump, 4 vans, 4 pickup trucks, 3 cars, waved to the crowd, got back into the Cessna, and flew away.
Wow.
He boasted that he never had an FAA license, but knew how to fly an airplane and just flew it anyway.
Just did it.
He doesn't have a pilot's license. He just flies an airplane. He said, quote, "I don't need a license to fly an airplane.
I get up in the air all the time."
Quote, "I fly any damn place I want to."
No, you do need one.
Wow. I fly from Seattle to Butte, Butte to Billings, Butte to Salt Lake City. What are they going to do? How can they stop me from flying around in the air up there? I mean, that's silly. I can fly a 747. There isn't anything I can't fly. I'll jump it over a canyon. I don't fucking care. The rules apply to everyone else, but not to him. He said, quote, "What I do according to the laws of society may not be exactly right, but the laws of society don't constitute my morals. I constitute them."
Fascinating, man.
Oh, man. He could do anything he wants. So, wow. He's on. There's a Colorado Springs Gazette Telegraph article here. Evel Knievel makes it look so easy while on jet bike.
He hasn't done it yet.
No, I guess they said that they call it a jet bike, but this is his regular bike, and they're just talking about him.
Does it have a jet engine on it?
No, he's just. I don't think so. Just doing some new shit. Yeah, no, he acknowledged that the thin and dry. Yeah, he just said that the elevation helped him. That's all. Okay. But they call it a jet bike. Interesting. He, little bit about Evel and his braggartness and all this shit. He said that he made love to over 600 women.
Okay. All right.
Which, I mean, that's nothing in the Wilt Chamberlain model, but.
No. Why? I don't understand why that is. Why do men think that, like, the amount is such a big deal?
Well, the famous guys do. That's. I have this much money, I have this many cars, and I fuck this many women. It's a. Okay. I climbed this mountain. It's a collection of weird shit. Yeah. I don't understand it either. A figure that he was not afraid to say was growing rapidly. He proclaimed that he made love to 8 different women in one day.
Well, don't tell your wife.
No, he said that in public. He said it with her sitting next to him. He didn't care.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy, dude. He would go fuck women, then take his wife to the bar and be like, "I fucked that woman last night," and tell her about it in front of people. It's fucking crazy.
Did she believe he was lying or something?
No, she knew he was serious. There was nothing she could do about it, and she didn't care. Yeah. So he set up shop in the noisiest, hottest bar in whatever city was his home for the night. He bought a round for the bar. He received an assortment of rounds in return. The people came to him. He was Evel Knievel, famous, straight from the television set, from the moving picture show, straight from the poster on your kid's bedroom wall. Adventure had begun. A Butte guy who traveled with him sometimes said, quote, men would offer him their wives. Yeah, that is fucking
Creepy.
weird. He said they thought it was an honor to give their wives to him. Women were all over him. They were attracted by the danger. Okay.
Wow.
Now, his hangout in L.A., according to the book, his major haunt in Los Angeles became Filthy McNastys.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously. That is, wait till you hear how this shit formed, too. A bar on Sunset Boulevard that, it's the Viper Room is what it is. It's
is it?
70s. No, it's where the Viper Room is, the same bar, which is what now? Is it some other shit now? But
it's still a Viper Room.
It's still a Viper, okay.
Yeah.
But this was the bar that was the Viper Room.
You have the most handsome man and prospect in Hollywood die in front of it. You never change the name of that.
I would think you change the name of it tomorrow to the bar that fucking River Phoenix didn't fucking throw up in the gutter and die in front of. Right?
Well,
It's a bad connotation.
I don't think I don't think anybody owns it other than Johnny Depp still. It was Johnny Depp's place then.
Yeah, then.
I think it still is.
By the way, is Eddie Vedder imitating Johnny Depp, or is Johnny Depp impersonating Eddie Vedder? I've been trying to figure this out because they both got extremely famous around the same time, and they both talk and act exactly the same way in interviews. I'm really curious who's imitating who.
And they've always worn the same sunglasses.
It's the same outfit, the same hair,
guy,
the same rings and weird shit. It's just the same thing.
Bandanas and shit hanging off of them.
Imagine this. You help your little brother land a great job abroad. But when he arrives, the job doesn't exist. Instead, he's trapped in a heavily guarded compound, forced to sit at a computer and scam innocent victims, all while armed guards stand by with shoot-to-kill orders. Scam Factory, the explosive new true crime podcast from Wondery, exposes a multi-billion-dollar criminal empire operating in plain sight. Told through one family's harrowing account of sleepless nights, desperate phone calls, and dangerous rescue attempts, Scam Factory reveals a brutal truth. The only way out is to scam their way out. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
Hey everybody, we have some exciting news that we want to share. If you want to go on an adventure with Generation Y, we'd love for you to join us. January 26th through the 30th, 2026, we'll be sailing from Miami to the Bahamas on Wondery's first ever true crime cruise aboard the Norwegian Joy. Aaron and I will be there to chat, hang out, dive into all things true crime, and we're thrilled to be joined by some familiar voices in the true crime podcasting world. Surti and Hannah from Red Handed, Sashi and Sarah from Scamfluencers, and Carl Miller from Kill List. Super excited to hang out with them too. We got some cool activities, interactive mysteries we can solve, testing our forensic skills with a blood spatter expert, and so much more. So for some fun, and just the right amount of mystery solving, come join us. If you'd like to know more and secure your spot, visit exhibitccruise.com for pre-sale information.
Same odd fucking guy. So it's kind of look like they smell a little funny. Same guy.
Yeah. The bartender was Adam Duritz forever.
Okay.
Did you know
yeah,
that?
Yeah.
I just found that out in some
time.
documentary. I don't remember what it was.
Interesting.
But yeah, he was there that night.
This bar used to be the Melody Lounge, which was like a Bugsy Siegel hangout back in the day.
Oh,
in
cool.
the 40s and shit. Yeah. Later on, it's the Viper Room. And but at this point, it is the McNasty brothers own it.
Oh.
The McNasty brothers, Filthy and Wolfgang McNasty.
Perfect.
Who obviously are Germans who moved from Berlin, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Why else? That's what I thought. Yeah. No, Filthy McNasty. They came from as teenagers in 56 from Berlin. Mm-hmm. They hung out in the L.A. restaurant business and changed their name. Their last name was Bartsch, Bartsch, which is just too many consonants in a name. Yeah. And they said, McNasty's cooler.
Yeah, it's cooler than a lot of things.
That's pretty cool. Phyllis Diller came to the bar sometimes. Little Richard, John Wayne even appeared. There was action every night of the week with loud bands, transvestite singers, mud wrestling, and a whole lot of Monty Rock III, who was a hairstylist, a singer, and mostly a flamboyant talk show guest with Merv Griffin and Johnny Carson. Knievel fit into the picture nicely, obviously. This is, it's a circus, and he's the fucking ringleader, so why not? Or the ringmaster, whatever the fuck. As he left his latest extravagant automobile and $100 bill with the valet parking attendant and signed for the unfolding of evening of hijinks. The hijinks would go very late. The Sunset Boulevard location had to close at 2 o'clock, but the brothers owned a second bar in North Hollywood, which was a private club.
Awesome.
Yeah. Filthy, who sometimes sang a tune of his own composition that goes, quote, "You're breaking my heart, you tear it apart, so fuck you." He's got a good hold on the American language anyway. English.
I've heard that song.
I'm sure you have.
I don't know who sings. I mean, obviously I know who sings it now, but I don't know where I've heard it. But I've certainly heard that song.
I feel like that's the an unknown verse to "Don't Go Breaking My Heart."
Maybe, yeah.
Don't go breaking my heart, and if you do, fuck you. I think I haven't heard that verse, but it could work. So during the proceedings, drove a Cadillac hearse, a black Cadillac hearse with bright orange interior. That's the McNasty brothers. Cool. He would fill the hearse with well-oiled women and drive them to the North Hollywood location. The men would follow, and the party would keep going until sunrise.
So, one way to describe gals.
Wow. Yeah, well-oiled. I mean, shit-faced. Wolfgang said Evel would always come. He had the cane filled with wild turkey. He always drank but was never drunk. He mostly would come by himself to the bar. He would stay in a hotel on the Strip. It was funny. If his wife was in town, she might come too. He would tell her what women he had seen, who he was with the night earlier. I never knew how he could do that.
Wow.
The book said Linda would be there. Linda would be back in Butte with the kids. Knievel checked in and out of his different lives. Nobody said a word. It's the 70s basically, and he's living it to the fucking brink here. So October 3rd, 1972, he is going to jump some more shit here. And this is in Wichita. There's just all these, every place he goes, there's just a big newspaper article being like, finally, some excitement's coming to this town. It's happening. October 9th, 1972, they're talking about his wheelie accident.
Which one?
Apparently, they talk about him. This is when, shortly before the wheelie accident, was when he hurt himself at the Cow Palace. Mm-hmm. But I guess this here, they're talking about him just crashing, doing a wheelie. Evel said, "I wish I had never said I'd do it, but a promise is a promise." When he said they're asking about jumping the gorge.
I mean, if it's not to your own child, fuck that promise.
Yeah, who gives a shit? A promise is a promise. Linda said, he isn't here right now. He's doing something in an air show, I believe, when they called his house. Mm-hmm. She said, I guess golf is one of his favorite sports. He tries to play several times a week and seems excited about playing in the Nashville tournament. This is when he's super into golf. Like, he'll build a house on the fairway of a country club in Butte and play every day. Well, we know he bets a ton on golf, and that's shit.
That's
but
why. Yeah.
He loves it. Yeah, it's something you can gamble on. He fucking loves golf, and he, at one point, gets to be very good at golf, but then, like, his game falls apart. Like,
Got
I don't
the
know.
yips forever.
The yips, or if it's just he's too fucked up, you hurt your back that many times, maybe you can't get in the right position or whatever. But at one point, they said he had a 6 handicap.
Too drunk. Oh.
Yeah. No, he's not drunk because he's playing for money.
Yeah, you don't do that.
And it's probably later, he claims that he could beat any PGA golfer if he bet them $10,000 a hole. Because he goes, when they lose and when there's pressure on TV, he goes, that's not their money they're losing. That's prize money. He goes,
they don't even have it yet.
This is their money. He goes, they'll start shaking. I won't.
Okay.
You know, I have nerves of steel. So they explaining that Knievel's golf scores are in the 80s unless his back is bothering him. She said, this is Linda. If a man enjoys his work, I suppose he's happy, and that's important, you know.
He sure is.
It's also important to let him fuck all sorts of people. That is how we do it. So, the November 19th, 1972 here. The Madison River in Ennis, Montana. So this is from the book. The irony was that after all the danger, after all the close calls, all the public conversations about the peril involved in his work, when death made an appearance in the midst of Knievel's ascendant rise, it came in a depressingly normal package. His father-in-law drowned in front of him, and there was nothing he could do to stop it.
What?
This is shitty, man. They said they went out early. They were duck hunting. It was a trip with Kelly, now 12, and Robbie, now 10. Linda's father, 63-year-old John Bork. They said him and Bork got along fine now after, Bork had him arrested for kidnapping his daughter in the past. And they said the plan was for the men in the family to hunt, then meet up with Linda and daughter Tracy at Varney's Bridge in the afternoon. Ennis and the Madison River were perhaps 75 miles southwest of Butte. Knievel and his father-in-law were lifelong hunters. They weren't doing anything unusual. This was a family outing, the type of event that the public forgot Knievel had. This is a normal everyday life. The accident happened in a moment. They're on a 13-foot inflated boat where while they're going along just fine, they hit a log and it flipped.
Oh, no.
They just hit a log the wrong way and it flipped. Everybody went flying. Knievel was able to grab Kelly. Bork was able to push Robbie to safety on top of a log. But then the current picked up and swept the father-in-law away.
Robbie Knievel was there? And
he almost died. He got put on a log, and
Wow.
half a second later, the father-in-law was taken away. So if he held him another half a second, they were both gone. Robbie was dead, too, before he ever tried to kill himself. So... Yep, they said he was gone just like that. They said he held onto a branch for half a second, and then he just, boom, he was gone.
Whoa.
Knievel told a newspaper he had on heavy boots, and they filled up with water. I had on boots, too. I couldn't get to him. He never wore boots in the boat, but he just hadn't got around to taking them off. Mm-hmm. So Knievel and the two boys were able to find safety on a small island in the middle of the river. They proceeded to call out for help, but soon found they were very much alone. Knievel eventually left the boys on the island and found a spot to cross the river to find help. Horses were used to bring the boys to safety.
Holy.
Bork's body was found on a sandbar further down the river. The current had pulled him away and the boots had pulled him down.
And then it washed him back up.
Well, that's right. A friend of Knievel's said, this is the guy who owns the Met Tavern, said it was just a tragedy. There wasn't any story. It just happened. Awful. So they said that, yeah, it's crazy. Evel later on, somebody asked him, what kind of dreams do you have? This is 4 years later. Yeah. And he said, there's one dream I keep having over and over. I relive the day my father-in-law drowned in a boat accident when he was with me and my two sons. I was torn between staying with the boys and trying to save him in the rushing water, and I stayed with my sons. Losing him.
Move.
He had to. You jump in, it sweeps you away, too. Now the kids are out there by themselves, and they're fucked.
Hang with the boys, man.
Yeah.
Let that old man figure it out.
You got to do that. It's at that point. You try to save the kids, and then that's all you can do. He said, losing him in that river was probably the worst thing that ever happened to me. When I first married my wife, I wasn't all that close to him, but through the years, we really formed a bond between us, and to this day, I have never gotten over that accident and the feeling that maybe I could have done something to save him.
Yeah, that's a tough thing.
I think this is the first hint of guilt we've heard out of Evel Knievel in his entire life about anything. Literally.
The first hint of human emotion
Yeah.
for anybody else.
It's crazy. Yeah, exactly. In the final months of 1972, his unhappiness allegedly was translated into grim action here, apparently, according to this book. Now, this is fucking crazy. This is some criminal shit here. The manager for Joe Einhorn, Super Joe, was beaten and threatened in a San Francisco motel room.
Oh, fuck.
Bob Gill was beaten and threatened in a Kansas City hotel room. And Doug Malowicki, who was working, he's the rocket guy who was working for Super Joe, was threatened near his own home. Knievel wasn't present at any of the events, but the men who were involved allegedly mentioned his name. Doing it
on his behalf.
He sent hired goons out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck with people so they don't ruin his fucking livelihood.
Wow. Malowicki said, quote, the guy said, I'm supposed to kill you. You should be dead right now. I felt sorry for you, though. You have a wife and children. I'm going to do you a favor, but you should do me a favor, too. Mm-hmm. He said the speaker was a beefy man, middle-aged. He showed a gun for emphasis. His advice was that Malowicki should stop being involved with Einhorn in this project. Could you be more obvious that Evel Knievel sent you?
Maybe stop doing things that compete with a man named Evel Knievel.
I'm just a big fan. I'm just a big fan, yeah.
Yeah.
The technology he used for evil should stay with evil, is what he said. You don't take that rocket bike over there. He said, was this too much to ask? He said, Malowicki should consider himself warned, and there's that. Malowicki said if the goal had been to scare him, it didn't work. He said, I knew the guy wasn't going to kill me. If he was going to kill me, he would have never talked to me. It would have been over before I knew anything happened. He really didn't worry me for some reason. Okay. The messages to both Einhorn's manager and Gill were allegedly the same message that Malowicki heard, but accompanied by punches or kicks. So they all had the same message, but the other people got beaten. The FBI moved into the case under the Hobbs Act, which prohibits actual attempted robbery or extortion affecting interstate or foreign commerce. Everyone was interviewed. The redacted versions of the FBI reports didn't surface publicly until 2008.
What?
One said that Blank, presumably Einhorn's manager, this is all redacted, some redacted shit in there, said that he had discussed the $25,000 challenge with Knievel on the phone a number of times. On August 23, 1972, he received a severe beating from two men that required him to be hospitalized for 2 days. Blank said that 2 weeks later he received a call from Knievel, who said he had no control over, quote, the thing that happened, but that if he told anyone, Knievel would fix it in 12 hours and that Blank, this person, would never walk again. A different someone, Blank, redacted in Kansas City, presumably Gill, said he was scared to death by his confrontation. Yeah. The FBI investigators wanted to find a connection between organized crime and Knievel. They thought that some of the venture capital for his jumps and other business deals came from mob characters in Chicago, and they wanted to hang the beatings and threats on the mob characters. They just want to use evil as a way to get to the mob guys. Malowicki said, the FBI came to see me. I told them what happened. They showed me some pictures, but none of them was the guy who had approached me. An agency review of Butte police files about Knievel was interesting. It found that he indeed had been a suspect in a string of robberies when he was a merchant policeman, a large suspect in the robbery of the treasurer's office in the courthouse, and also had been flagged for a comment he made in 1962 to a bank official, wondering what the official would do if he wanted a large amount of money at that moment. Now, they thought the comment was threatening because he didn't have an account there.
Yeah, that's called bank robbery.
That would be, yeah, he's like, what would happen if I robbed you? Yeah. How about that? A little bit more on the beatings and stuff later. We'll talk about that. Yeah. So January 4th, 1973, Evel Knievel escapes unhurt from explosion.
What?
Why is he fucking with explosions now? His jet-powered motorcycle exploded and burned while being refueled. That's why.
Okay. So
Knievel,
it's not like pyrotechnics. No. It's just the actual machine blew up.
He didn't like hit a wall and explode, which is what I'm picturing. He was sitting on the motorcycle when the accident happened and said the damage to the $200,000, it's not a $200,000 machine, was $6,000. Knievel is to perform in a motorcycle show this weekend at the Las Vegas Convention Center. Okay. Here's some just odds and ends here. From the book. The new big money life of Knievel was best exhibited in an event held at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum, February 1873. He was co-promoter, along with old friend J.C. Agajanian of the world's richest demolition derby. He's the guy from before. Luxury cars like a new Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud, a Cadillac Eldorado, and a Lincoln Continental Mark IV would be placed in combat with 27 other recent model lesser sedans. Yeah. So after
Dodge Colts.
a bunch of horse shit. After the destruction was complete, Knievel would jump over a pyramid of 50 junk cars.
Okay.
It was called Motor Heroics the day. As soon as it was announced, the promoter said, we got such hate mail. A lot of it came from overseas. This was a decline of civilization. Americans were so fill in the blanks. A guy wrote that anyone in Britain would give his eye teeth just to sit in a car like the Rolls, not even drive it, and we were going to destroy it. But
hang in there. We'll be much more gluttonous.
It's going to wait till you see later. Oh, shit. ABC nevertheless bought the package for Wide World of Sports, Knievel's first appearance since his cameo debut 5 years earlier. The Rolls was sent around the freeways of L.A., a sign on it that read, "This car will be destroyed on February 11th, 1973. The date changed to a week later when rain postponed the first show. Knievel took to the streets to promote the event. In the Maserati, he was clocked at 110 miles per hour on the Hollywood freeway at one point.
Holy shit.
It's a little fast. He's lucky he could go that. Back then, there's no traffic, I guess. You could go 110. Yeah. So they said his schedule was full. He paid a visit to Johnny Carson, where he told the host he was not suicidal. He put in some quality time with the McNasty brothers, who once announced the news of Evel Knievel is drunk inside on their Sunset Boulevard sign. Okay. He dressed up in his mink coat with the sable collar and went to Sportscasters luncheon at Ram's Horn Restaurant in Encino. The luncheon did not turn out well.
No.
He shared the bill with UCLA basketball coach John Wooden, who's like the most legendary coach ever, champion pole vaulter Steve Smith, and British heavyweight boxer Joe Bugner, among other people. As everybody else talked, Knievel formed the impression that he was viewed as a second-class citizen in this group and not a true athlete. He addressed this impression when he finally went to the microphone. Some of the famous people had already departed. He said, quote, "I heard some comments around here that what I do might be some kind of circus stunt. Sorry that John Wooden and Steve Smith have already left because I wanted them to hear this. First, I want to say that the least of my worries is what's going to happen next week, and the second least of my worries is falling 19 feet into a pile of sawdust," meaning the fucking high jump guy or the pole vaulter guy. "I want to talk to you about opponents. Now, there's a couple of you guys out there who wonder about that, and I would like you to tell me if you can find a tougher opponent than mine, because my opponent is death."
Okay.
That's right.
That's the thing. You don't have Bugner and Wooden out there threatening other coaches and other boxers to quit because this is my shit.
They don't beat the shit out of, that doesn't happen. John Wooden.
I think I'd rather, if there's anybody that, you know what I mean, in boxing, they will kill you.
Yeah, That's,
certainly death.
I would love the visual of John Wooden threatening somebody with broken legs if they didn't sit their center for this fucking upcoming game against UCLA. Yeah. So the promoter guy said, "My father sent me with him most of the week." This is the promoter's son. "I took him to a radio interview. I left while he was talking. He asked afterward where I was. I said I went to the bathroom. He said, never get up and start walking around when I'm talking."
Okay.
So there he is. All the talk, all the publicity did not bring out the crowd, though. Evel and Agajanian said they invested $200,000 in the show. They were hoping for 50,000 people at $8 a ticket. They got 23,764. Still a good crowd, but they said the rain out hurt. They had to reschedule it. They said only the money from ABC saved them from making it a fucking ass-kicking in the financial way there. The Demolition Derby had somewhat predictable results. Fun. They drove. A guy won the first prize driving a 73 Ford LTD. The Rolls-Royce Silver Cloud fared worst of all. Bobby Unser, the Indy driver, was behind the wheel.
Really?
Yeah. The car quickly became hung up on a hay bale that was part of the out-of-bounds border. The motor died. The Rolls had an electric starter. The starter quit. Back then, no matter how nice, a British car was a hunk of shit. So,
really, any car was not
a lot of them. No, but they were known for their shitty electrical systems back then. The British cars. The Rolls was done almost before the battle began. Assorted competitors crashed into the helpless luxury car just for the hell of it, just for the show. Unser sat behind the wheel for the hits. He had a short-fused personality that was a good match for Knievel. He was not happy. The cars, it should be mentioned, each ran on gas from a 5-gallon can that had been secured in the back seat. It was a safety feature to keep the normal gas tanks dry. Okay. So if it breaks, you'll catch on fire immediately inside.
Gas amongst me.
Yeah, that's better. When he was outside of the Rolls, he took out a cigarette lighter. He lit the lighter, threw it into the back seat. The Rolls went up in flames. It was a moment. That's amazing. He just was like, and did like a wow. A delay developed between the Derby and the jump. The last-minute subject, again, was money. Knievel had a disagreement with ABC. He said he decided he wasn't going to perform. "I can't do this anymore," he said. The ABC people pleaded. The dispute was eventually ended.
Wow.
Knievel came out of his trailer, jumped on the XR750, roared into the Coliseum where he did some wheelies. Then he went to the microphone. He now talked almost exactly like the character John Millis had created in the movie. He was a caricature of a caricature.
Oh, no.
He talked about the grand off-delayed jump at Snake River. He said, you can say a lot of things about a man. You can say he's a great race car driver or a not-so-great race car driver. You can say he's been lucky or else he's been broke or rich. You can say that he drives a big car or a little car. You can say he's got a large penis or a small penis. You can say his wife has large tits or small breasts, but no. He says, but you can say nothing better about a man than his word is as good as gold. And I want to tell you something. If I jump that canyon and make it, when I land in that parachute, I'll drop to both knees and thank God Almighty I'm alive. And he says his whole thing again. I'll grab a handful of Idaho dirt. Blah, 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 blah. He said, but just remember something. Remember one thing. If you're ever at a party or here at this great stadium at a ball game or at home in your office, and I happen to have missed on that jump, and somebody says to you, that guy's a disgrace, I'd like you to do me one favor. Say, regardless of what Evel Knievel was, I saw him at the Los Angeles Coliseum. He said he was going to jump the canyon, and he did. He kept his word. And that's something you can say about very few men on the face of this earth. That's right. He said, we've been here in Los Angeles for a while now getting ready for this. It's been a good time. The women have come and gone. The parties have been great. The booze has flowed. But now it's time for me to come what I came here to do.
Okay.
And he did. A long 200-foot ski jump of sorts had been built at the top of the Coliseum at one end. He rode to the top, turned around, and came hurtling, or built to the top, not at the top, came hurtling back down, trying to hit 100 miles per hour before he reached the ramp at the 20-yard line. The cars had been stacked 3 high in front of him, but had been compressed so they weren't much taller than a normal sedan. He cleared the pile easily, good landing. A parachute advertising Olympia beer popped out. And he kept moving, riding all the way up another ski jump at the other end of the stadium. The motorcycle slid at the top, but he gained control and came back. And he said to the ABC guy, another day, another dollar. Mm-hmm. And they said, you know, Evel, you're still shaking a little bit. And he said, if you did what I did, Bill, you'd be shaking too.
You'd be shaking in your boots.
You'd be shitting is what you'd be doing. Yeah. I'm shaking. You'd be shitting. He gets a speeding ticket here. Yeah. There's an article, Evel Knievel cruises to a ticket on I-94.
Oh, nice.
He said it wasn't that he was trying to outrun us. He was just cruising along in that beautiful car, said a Calhoun County sheriff's deputy who issued a speeding citation to Tuesday to Evel Knievel. He was issued a citation charging him with driving 100 miles an hour in a 70 zone on the I-94 in a gold 73 Ferrari. That's not flashy, is it?
It doesn't get much attention.
Is that the flashiest thing you could possibly drive, a golden Ferrari?
In 73, probably not much flashier.
I can't think of anything else. Deputy Ken Lohr said he gave chase to the sports car but couldn't keep up with it. He radioed ahead to Jackson. So he wasn't running. He was just on the move.
Just cruising, man.
Yeah, he radioed ahead to Jackson County where sheriff's deputies stopped Knievel and waited for this guy to catch up and give him a ticket. Uh-huh. He posted a $25 bond and drove on his way. That's that. So that's fucking hilarious, man. He says, there's a guy here, Dusty Russell. Uh-huh. Dusty Russell, this guy, another jumper. A Georgia-born stunt driver who says he can jump farther than in his car than Knievel can on a motorcycle.
Okay.
Come on. He stars in Steel Arena, a movie about thrill shows that premieres in the Southeast today. Never heard of that one. Nope. Dusty Russell, who was born 33 years ago in Macon, said he will attempt a world's record car jump Saturday at the opening of Atlanta's 500 stock car race. I'm going to shoot for 150 feet, he says casually, and land on a row of parked cars. The parked cars act as a cushion like a mattress. You can't land on a ramp like with a motorcycle. So he's saying he can jump farther in a car than Evel does in a motorcycle.
Seems like a car you'd be able to, as long as you can get it to land correctly, you could jump way further.
Yeah, it's heavier, so you can, as long as you can get the speed up.
And you got to have, I don't know, maybe not, because the front end's going to be heavy as shit. That'll drop faster than the ass, yeah.
Maybe it's a different kind, who knows, maybe it's a rear or engine or a mid-engine type of deal.
I don't know.
You would want that in the back, I would think.
Right? You'd
yeah,
think so.
at least also to keep it from dropping and you
But
ended
how
up
far are you
landing
gonna
on your
jump
nose.
a Volkswagen?
That's the other thing. Who knows? This is very strange. The Bangor Daily News here, April 4th, 1973. Evel Knievel Lee Trevino match is called off.
Lee Trevino.
The golfer?
Oh, he's going to fucking go golf against
Yeah.
him?
Yeah. Trevino is here for the Masters Golf Championship, which starts Thursday, has changed his mind about accepting the Daredevil Cyclist Challenge to play for $10,000 a hole. Remember he said that?
Yeah.
Originally, Trevino said he would, and seeing Knievel's challenge for what it was, obviously an out-and-out publicity stunt, instructed him to get up $200,000 and they'd play on some neutral site. Trevino said, but I got this telegram the other day. He said, it said, quote, Super Mex, I accept your challenge. Lee Trevino's Mexican. Yeah. Super Mex. Meet me outside Chicago Airport and bring $200,000 in small unmarked bills. Come alone.
Okay. What is that?
Trevino said the wire was signed Evel Knievel, but he doesn't believe the cyclist actually sent it. He said somebody sent me a thing and wants to rob me. Yeah, come alone. 3 a.m.
Very funny.
Behind the building.
$200,000.
Holding $200,000. Now enter Elvis into the story.
For whatever reason.
Of course.
Well. Yeah.
It's not even whatever. It's not even random. It's insanely fucking crazy. His sister went out with Elvis for 2.5 years.
What?
His sister was Elvis's girlfriend for 2.5 years.
Wow.
What a weird 6 degrees of separation she's got. Imagine between Elvis and Evel Knievel, you could do with anybody in the world with her, and it would work. So somewhere during this time, Evel Knievel met Elvis Presley. This is from the book. They said there was a pop culture inevitability to the moment. The daredevil from Butte and the rock and roll singer from Tupelo wore the same showbiz clothes, worked the same fan base, even shared the same snarl when cornered. They were bound to bump into each other sometime, and, it would be a big deal. But the way it happened, it was quiet. Evel's half-sister, Loretta Young, had begun to date Elvis. She introduced her brother to her boyfriend. Mm-hmm. No cameras, no press, just hang out here. Elvis was playing at the Intercontinental Hotel in Vegas, which later became the Hilton, Loretta said. My brother came to a show. We sat in one of those high booths up front. When Elvis went into his last song, his manager, Joe Esposito, got us, and we went back to the dressing room. Elvis changed clothes, and we sat around and talked. They say Loretta, tall, blonde, very pretty, went out with Elvis for 2.5 years. He picked her out of a chorus line at the Desert Sands and asked her for a date between shows. It gets weirder, Jimmy. Is
that how Elvis trolled for chicks?
Yeah, he just saw a chick and was like, you're pretty. You want to go out on a date? At least he wasn't like, you want to give me a blowjob in the car. At least he was asking, I'll buy you a meal.
But what year is that? Because he was certainly with Priscilla at that time.
This is like 72, 73.
Got to, right? Because that's when what's-her-name was born.
It's somewhere around. It's in this ballpark, man. It's right in this ballpark. This might have been, I'm not sure. Now, he asked her for a date. She refused a date because she already had a date with Jerry Van Dyke. Not Dick Van Dyke, Jerry Van Dyke, the assistant coach on Coach. Him.
What?
She said, I'm going out with Luther. I can't fuck Elvis, is what she said. Okay. So Elvis persisted, came back the next night with yellow roses and a dinner invitation, and she was like, he is fucking Elvis. Sure, I'll go out with you. Why not? This book says he was funnier than the world knew. He was deeper than the world knew. He was, truth be told, a much sweeter spirit than her brother. Maybe the darkness would get him in the end, fame and drugs and deep-fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches, but not now. He still read the Bible every day. He's not very bright, Elvis, from everything just these few quotes, he does not sound bright. One afternoon he declared, I found out what God's real name is. I read it in the Bible. And she said, well, what's his real name? And he said, all excited too, not kidding. He said, Hallowed. You know where we're going. Yep. She said, what kind of name is that? And he said, I don't know, but it says it right in there. Hallowed be thy name. So he thought that was God's name.
I figured it out. Nobody else has caught on.
No, nobody else is. That's because the book was written by people much smarter than Elvis, because it's a book. So
Elvis
authors
said that shit.
Elvis said that out loud to a woman, and then she had sex with him. Think about that.
And then she put it in her mouth. That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, that should be no more touching your dick ever again.
Elvis is dumb.
Oh, man. The meeting with Loretta's brother went fine. Knievel had always been impressed by celebrity, and who was a bigger celebrity than fucking Elvis, honestly.
Yeah.
Knievel had a line about him that he repeated often. He said, I guess I thought I was Elvis Presley, but I'll tell you something. All Elvis did was stand on a stage and play a guitar. He never fell off onto that pavement at no 80 miles per hour. Okay. So Loretta Young said when he first got those white leathers, he said he wanted to look like Elvis. And he did. He even had a rabbit's foot for good luck. Elvis always had a rabbit's foot for good luck, too, until one day he realized where the rabbit's feet came from.
No.
That's how dumb he is.
He didn't know that a rabbit's foot was a
It's
rabbit's fucking foot?
Nope. He said, hey, wait a minute. This wasn't such good luck for the rabbit. And he stopped carrying them.
I can feel his claws, for Christ's sake.
Wow. Now when you hear about him shooting up his TVs and shit, you go, yes, a dummy would do that. Yes, he's dumb. Dummy.
Why is he got... He's just so... How did he get so famous being this dumb? That's
He's
fascinating.
handsome, and he dances, I guess, well for white people in the 50s. I don't know. I have no idea.
It's verification that we've always made stupid people famous.
Yeah, absolutely. And singers don't have to be smart. We've known that forever.
The man thinks Jesus' name is
Hallowed. It's not like he wrote the fucking songs either.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, that's a great point. That's how... I mean, he stole it.
Yeah.
Stole everything, fucking jerk.
So Elvis wanted to know, they're meeting, they're backstage. Elvis wanted to know what projects Evel had going on. What you got going on, Evel?
Maybe I can steal it.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that instead.
Can I shake my hips on a
Is
motorcycle?
that possible? Has a black guy done that yet? Maybe I can. He said, Evel told him about the Snake River and the canyon, and Elvis was impressed. How far is that, he asked. Over a mile, Evel said.
Wow.
On a motorcycle, Elvis said. He said, no, I have this other thing, the sky cycle. Knievel invited Presley to the jump whenever it happened. At the close of the conversation, Presley said he'd be glad to go. They shook hands and went in different directions into the Vegas night. Okay. Knievel called Loretta a while later and thanked her for the meeting. He was back in Butte and bragged about the round bed that he had installed in the bedroom of his new house. Loretta told him that was very nice. She said Elvis also had a round bed on his personal airplane.
Yeah. And that's where I gargled his balls.
Oh, every damn night. Well, Knievel said in his airplane, and she said, yeah, and he has a chinchilla bedspread for it. And he said, chinchilla?
Yeah.
2 weeks later, Knievel called again, and he said he had a chinchilla bedspread now. Had it made for his round bed, and he said it's very toasty, warm, and comfortable. And she said, oh, I know. I fuck Elvis in it.
Careful. That gets real sticky.
Yeah. Careful. Jizz does not come out of that. I'm just going to tell you right now.
You can't dry clean that.
It does not come out. April 15th, 1973, Chicago Tribune here. There's a little like an editorial thing. And they said, quote, ever since, this is a question to the editor, ever since that crazy guy, Evel Knievel, put on, quote, the world's richest demolition derby in Los Angeles last February, my teenage son has been bothering me to enter my brand new air-conditioned station wagon in the same kind of event.
Come on, Dad, let's take the family truckster.
Let's do it. Hop on in. Fuck it. Well, I mean, fuck it. It's going to be destroyed by the time you get to Wally World anyway. You might as well do it now. Have some fun with it.
Don't go through St. Louis.
Don't go honky lips. Don't go through St. Louis. See, you're going to see an old Torino. Inside that Torino is my cousin, Jack. Now, he'll tell you where to go. I ain't even from this town. I'm from the south side of Chicago here on vacation.
You go to that Torino and ask Jack.
Ask Jack. Inside that Torino is my cousin, Jack.
Ask him. I got to go.
That's great. So he said, I'd like to know who are the people who turned over their Cadillacs and Lincolns to those destruction-crazed drivers? Wasn't there a Rolls-Royce in the Derby, too? And the answer, Knievel entered his own Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow into the February 18th Demolition Derby. Not true at fucking all.
Oh?
Definitely not true. They got it from some promotional thing.
Yeah.
But that's what he told people. It was my own Rolls-Royce I put in there. but he won't miss it much because he has a whole stable of cars. The co-promoter of the event with Knievel entered his own Cadillac Eldorado and a Lincoln Continental Mark IV. The other 49 cars in the Derby were entered by individuals, local body shops, and wrecking yards. One car was entered by the police department of Torrance, California. A battered Ford LTD won the Derby by being the last car on the track capable of moving under its own power.
Okay. Yeah,
that's how you win.
500 cubic inch big block, and those things were crazy tanks.
Oh, and they were a huge
Giant
tank,
fucking motor,
made of fucking steel. It's half motor. You bash into any those things weighed, Christ Almighty,
30-foot long car.
Oh man,
Huge.
Those were gigantic. Those LTDs. So he's going to be in Evel Knievel Cycle-Rama 73 at the Cincinnati Gardens in April of 73. And Evel said, "Some people tell me that I fell on my head at 6 months and I never recovered, but I rather consider myself an explorer, a pioneer in the art of stunt driving and motorcycling."
Yeah.
That's what he said. That's his fucking quote, which is hilarious. Some people say I'm just crazy and brain damaged, but really, I'm a pioneer. Now, May 17th, 1973, headline, not shocking, Knievel puts off Snake River jump.
Oh?
Can't do it right now. Yeah.
Slowing down. We got to take a break. We got to look back.
He said he'll jump the canyon, quote, when I'm damn good and ready.
Oh, at my pace. Oh,
At my
okay.
fucking pace here. There's advertisements, billboards all over saying it'll be the 4th of July. Mm-hmm. Evel said the United States seems to be behind with its Skylab mission, so I hope the people don't become too impatient if Evel Knievel delays his jump. He said that about himself. He said these things have problems. He said they have problems with the Muhammad Ali Frazier fight, which was supposed to be the biggest sporting event they had ever tackled, but already have 16 more cities subscribing for my canyon jump. So I'm going to have better closed circuit numbers than Ali Frazier, he's saying.
That's the Rumble in the Jungle, isn't it?
No, that's which one was that? No, that's Foreman. That's Foreman. That's Ali Foreman.
Okay.
Yeah. Thriller in Manila, you're thinking of. Thriller in Manila is Frazier.
Yeah.
That's it. They said they're now planning to go worldwide to Europe and Japan. I've sold the rights to television, and when they feel the day is right, I will jump. They are controlling it. So now he's like, listen.
Fucking Big Ben, watch out.
Watch out, I'm doing it. He said, I certainly hope we can do it Labor Day. That's when he's talking about now, doing it here. Who knows? May 25th, 1973, Evel Knievel show crashes. Is a headline in the Pittsburgh Press. The Evel Knievel stunt show scheduled for the Seven Springs Resort this weekend has been canceled because the promoter was unable to fulfill his obligation to both Seven Springs and Evel Knievel, according to a resort spokesman.
Okay, not both sides could be satisfied.
No, it sounds like somebody didn't have the money that they said they had.
Yeah.
So that's what it is. Now, a little bit we've talked a lot about his professional life. We've talked about his filthy McNasty nighttime dwellings. What about his family, though?
What's going on?
What
How
about
is
his
she happy?
Wow. They say Butte was still a part of Knievel's life. This is in the book. This was his alternate universe, the place where he was husband and father, local boy who had made good despite a lot of grim predictions. This was still his home base, an increasingly silent partner in all that he did, but still a partner. He landed here when there was nowhere else on the schedule for him to land. A neighbor of his said you'd hear him come down the street with the Stutz Bearcat or whatever he was driving. She said he was a show-off. Everything was for Bob. He'd hit the door, come from someplace. The first thing he'd say was, Kelly, get my suitcase. Robbie, get my golf clubs. I'm doing something. He was not a great husband, not a great father. Friends and enemies in Butte both would say he should have never gotten married. I would say so, yeah.
He hates it.
This opinion quickly would be followed by a nice word about his wife, something like, Linda's the greatest, nicest girl in the world. She's going to go straight to heaven.
What an angel for putting up with this piece of shit.
Linda fucking Job Knievel over here. She's been quite a lot put on her.
Hallowed be her name.
Hallowed is her name. Hallowed is his wife's name. The implication was that her perseverance, just living with this domineering man, would take care of any time she might be asked to serve in heaven's alternative. Knievel insisted that Linda was off limits for all interviews, off limits for even pictures, so she was seen little, heard less. He would explain later that he didn't like the idea of divorce, someone else raising his kids. Indeed, the possibility of dying and being replaced was one of his oft-stated reasons for spending every dollar that came into his hands. He didn't like and this is the hypothetical idea, he didn't like the idea of Linda being remarried to some banker or businessman who would come into the scene after Evel had perished in a stunt, some slob who would spend all the money, play with all the toys that he had accumulated. He's like, that motherfucker's
right.
That motherfucker's going to be driving my car. Linda, you bitch, letting him drive my car. And she's like, what? What are you talking about? Fuck are you talking about? Linda, who admitted later that she should have gotten a divorce, you think, after wow.
Yeah.
He kidnapped you. That should have been a sign, number one.
There's that, but then he's telling you of the women that he's cheating on you with.
That is crazy. Had all the signs of an abused woman. She was certainly verbally abused. He barked, she jumped. He delivered his tortured explanations about why it was all right for him to sleep with other women. Indeed, he glorified his relationships with them, boasted about them, while maintaining he could still love his wife, his girl Linda, at least in public, accepted it all, and she said nothing. This is a female neighbor said, I understand the romance, the balls to the wall thing about him. My father worked in the mines. I was like 13 years old, and I said, oh boy, Evel's going to jump some more cars. I was sort of sarcastic. My father was upset. He admired him. A lot of the guys in the mines did.
Really?
Because he had balls.
Yeah, and he's the blue-collar Superman.
He's their guy.
Yeah.
Who's famous and still lives in Butte, still has his house there, and he didn't even leave. She goes on to say, but he beat his wife.
That's not good.
No, that was not romance. Everyone in town knew it. What kind of man does that? Linda is just the nicest person. Linda is class. Evel was not class. They said his relationship with his kids also seemed to come out of a drill instructor's manual. He was autocratic, though, or autocratic and tough. The emerging defiant one was Robbie. Robbie's the problem, apparently. Mm-hmm. Kelly and Tracy tended to follow his orders. Robbie would nod his head in agreement at whatever pronouncement his father made, then do exactly the opposite as soon as his father left. Right. He said he was more than one person said exactly like his father, a payback for a lifetime of bad behavior. Yeah. He's when your parents go, hope he's just like you little bat. That's what it is.
That's what you deserve.
Yep. That Robbie, he's driving me crazy, Knievel would say. He would mention that Robbie was bitten by a Rottweiler as a young child. Maybe that was it, the Rottweiler. Maybe that fucked him up.
Maybe.
Gave him some kind of fucking permanent rabies that just his mind wasn't right. Yeah. When he got around to putting some of his new money into a home for the family, Knievel mostly built a temple to himself. He picked the place, a 9-acre lot on the 16th fairway at the Butte Country Club in April of 72. He paid $100,000 in four installments to the Lakeshore Development Corporation over the next 8 months. He then picked the style of the house, a ranch, and picked out the stone that should be used and picked out the curtains. This was to be his dream house. Then the features should come out of his own dream. Right. Knievel said, I designed the whole thing. Though finishing touches were still to be added when he showed this Betty Sue Raymond, the woman's editor of Montana Standard, showed her the almost completed $100,000 house. Most of the work had already been done. Knievel's sense of style, Linda told Betty Sue that he made great choices even when he kept changing his mind, was obvious. The shag carpet that ran through the house was a burgundy wine color. The bathroom decor was a mixture of blacks and golds. Oh, my God. Someone had to redo this some day and went, who the fuck did this in the bathroom?
That's his original jumpsuit.
Totally. Right down to the black and gold fixtures. Heavy gold drapes were hung in the living room. A 7-foot circular bed dominated the bedroom. A mirrored headboard as part of the picture. A giant cedar closet off the bedroom held Knievel's many fur coats. He said, quote, Grandma just loves to put on my mink coat and go in and lay on that king-size bed.
Holy.
His grandma comes once in a while. They said there's a room for Emma, grandma. That's the grandma Emma.
Yeah.
When she
laying on his chinchilla.
It's fucking amazing. Ignatius had passed away in 72, his grandfather. There were rooms for each of the kids, red fixtures in their bathroom. An artist was going to paint a picture of the 16th green at the Butte Country Club in the exercise room, a mural that he would be able to see while he pounded golf balls off the AstroTurf into a net.
Mm-hmm.
A stone wall surrounded the place, heavy wrought iron gates in front, Knievel's signature EK prominent in the design.
Yeah.
There would be stables, a putting green, a place to land a helicopter.
Jesus Christ.
A second artist, not the one who painted the mural, worked with Montana travertine rock to create a picture of a man on a motorcycle behind the wet bar. The image of another man, no, probably the same man and motorcycle, was created on the perimeter of the cathedral window in the living room. There was little doubt who lived in this place and what he did for a living. Said the house would become a stop for whatever tourists came through Butte, so Knievel added a guard shack to the front, staffed 24 hours a day. That's not expensive, is it? Jesus. The locals mostly would drive past and wonder what was inside. The latest rumor was a heated horse arena. The house was a subject of conversation. One guy said, I had a printing business. Evel called me up and asked me if I could print some elaborate gold checks for him. He was smart. He knew that if he gave people a gold check with his signature on it, they might not cash it and they might save it for the autograph. Brilliant. I wasn't much interested in printing the checks. I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole, but I did want to see the place.
Yeah. And then if they hang on to it long enough, that check's no longer any good.
Yeah, that's what he wants,
Brilliant.
I think. Yeah. And he said, this guy said, I went in. He was sitting in the living room at a big glass table. There was a silver telephone. The phone rang. Evel listened, and then he said, I'm my own agent. I don't care if you worked with Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. Get off my fucking phone, and hung up. What a jerk off. What a fucking jerk off. Okay. Here's a kid claiming that Evel owes him $1,000.
Okay. Why?
Okay. From 73, from the Casper Star Tribune. Jim Grady, a 14-year-old kid in Denver. He said this newspaper article says the youngster used to think of Evel Knievel, the daredevil motorcycle driver, as his hero. But now young Grady thinks the motorized phenomenon is just a Welsher. Grady read an article in a book in which Knievel emphasized the importance of safety when riding a motorcycle.
Oh, why's that?
Quote, if anyone ever sees Evel Knievel on a motorcycle without his helmet on, I'll give him $1,000 right there, Knievel said in the article.
Okay.
Grady had taken pictures when Knievel appeared at the Continental Divide Raceways last year. Some of the photographs clearly showed Knievel riding a motorcycle without a helmet on.
Got him.
So Sunday, when Knievel was to appear at the Century 21 Speedway, Grady bought a $6 ticket and went in carrying a 6-foot sign which read, Evel Knievel, you owe me $1,000 and I can prove it. That is awesome. The youth stood near a fence and yelled at Knievel as he was talking to the crowd. For his efforts, he was told by a policeman to shut up. Hey, shut up.
Yeah.
Grady feels sure Knievel saw his sign, but the youngster says he has just about given up any hopes of getting his money. Grady also says he has his doubts about Knievel's plan to jump his motorcycle over the Snake River Canyon. Quote, has anyone ever seen his takeoff ramp? I don't think so. I don't think he'll do it ever. That's the kid, Grady. Okay, yeah. I don't think he'll do it. God damn it.
He owes me $1,000 too.
Yeah, and he owes me fucking money. They do a golf tournament. Here's from the Montana Standard here. Golfers enjoy fun tournament. Mm-hmm. Golfers have been competing for $10,000 in prizes in the Evel Knievel Labor Day Classic. That is fucking hilarious. So, yeah, at the Evel Knievel Classic, they say the barbecue is tremendous, the best meal in town. Great. Terrific.
No other description of it?
No other description. That's it. Just a good old
barbecue. Yeah.
We don't know what kind of barbecue, but
guess it's just going to be good no matter what.
Something. November 21st, 1973. Okay. Agents, remember the beatings earlier of the other people? Yeah. Well, FBI agents finally tracked Knievel down to talk to him on November 21st, 1973 at O'Hare Airport in Chicago. He had called an FBI agent that morning and accused the agent, and this is from the agent, quote, in a very excited and occasionally vulgar manner of trying to destroy his reputation by telling people that he was connected to organized crime. He said he was going to sue the agent and the FBI for $500,000.
That's slander.
That's slander, mister. Yeah. By the afternoon meeting in the airport, he had calmed down. He retracted his threat to sue. He admitted making phone calls in the past to different aggrieved parties, admitted that they were angry phone calls, but denied having anything to do with any of the physical confrontations. He said the confrontations probably became about because someone else also disliked these people.
Yeah.
And loved you, apparently, because that's...
They got haters, man. What do you want?
That's what it is. If I think they're an asshole, what am I, the only guy in the world that thinks they're an asshole? The FBI tried to put together a case for a grand jury in San Francisco, but never nailed down enough facts. The attorney in charge of the San Francisco strike force was reassigned. The new attorney in charge looked at the files and decided there wasn't enough evidence to link any of the threats to organized crime. Knievel was never charged. None of this made the newspapers at the time, so he never had to, publicly eat this shit. So but that guy, Bob Gill, he said, I later became great friends with Evel. He did that one bad thing with me, then did 1,000 nice things after that. He apologized so many times I had to say, stop it, will you, with the apologies.
He threatened you.
He had you beaten. He was beaten to a pulp in a fucking hotel room. So but he admitted to it, so we know Evel did it because he told the guy. That's great. November 29th, 1973. This is a newspaper article. It says, Letters to Santa from the first grade students. Dear Santa, here's one. I have been a good boy. I want a 20-inch bike, 1776 drum, Evel Knievel stunt cycle, football, flying circus, Big Jim fishing trip, mini bike for Christmas. Okay.
Everything Evel, yeah.
Everything Evel. Dear Santa Claus, I have been a good boy. I want a hot seat, an Evel Knievel stunt cycle, a junior guitar, trap drum set, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, Big Jim fishing trip, Big Jim for Christmas. This Big Jim had it locked down. Fuck is up with Big Jim, man.
What's the hot seat toy?
I don't know. Big Jim I don't know what the hot seat is either, but look up Big Jim fishing trip. See what the fuck that is.
Oh, a hot seat was a fucking three-wheel. It's an Evel Knievel toy.
The Big Jim?
No,
the hot seat.
The hot seat. I'm looking at Big Jim fishing trip. Big Jim fishing trip?
Fishing trip. That's what both of them asked for.
It's a toy.
It's a toy. Yeah, they both asked for it. It must be a.
It's a. What is that?
Is that the one where they have like a? I've seen old ads for this shit where they have like a. Basically, it's just like a guy in a camper, and he's just like it's just people setting up camping shit. I think.
What is this? Is it girl? What is this? I wrote big fishing trip. That's why. I was like, oh, Big Jim fishing trip. There it is. Yeah, it's like a big fucking fish on a stick, and Big Jim comes with it. He's got waders. Yeah, it's a toy that fishes. It's a fishing toy, and also Big Jim for Christmas. I don't know. Yeah, he wants Big Jim, and Big Jim fishing trip comes with a buggy and a tent. It's Barbie for boys. And then he signs it just like the other person signed it. I love you, Scott Mallory. I love you, Santa. Dear Santa Claus, I have been a good boy. I want an Evel Knievel stunt cycle and scramble van for Christmas. Love, Donald Spivey. The scramble van is his too, I think. We knew. Yeah, it's in the collection when we talked about it. Dear Santa Claus, I have been a good boy. I want a hot seat, junior guitar, Evel Knievel scramble van, Big Jim fishing trip, Coyote dune buggy, G.I. Joe training center, Tonto 3-speed bike, Nip-Nop game, Gnip-Gnop, G-N-I-P, game, love Keenan. Dear Santa Claus, I've been a good... Love you. He just says love. Dear Santa Claus, I've been a good boy. Will you bring me an Evel Knievel van and action figures? Love, Danny Smith. Dear Santa, please bring me Evel Knievel scramble van and Trail Boss play rifle. Boss play rifle? I need a gun and Big Jim. I need Big Jim. I'm going to fish and hunt. Dear Santa Claus, please bring me a bicycle, Batman, and Evel Knievel stunt cycle. And a bicycle so I can do this shit too. A Big Jim fishing trip now, James, is $300. Holy shit. Yeah. It was apparently a popular toy back then. Really, yeah, nostalgia. Dear Santa, please bring me an Evel Knievel and a camping set. Thank you.
And then under this, the Evel Knievel stunt cycle, because there is ads for it in the newspaper here, is $8.68. $8.68.
Cheap.
And that's what every kid wants. That's all he wants. Evel Knievel.
Toy.
Yep, Evel Knievel scramble van, too, which has like a ramp that goes up the back. Comes equipped with gasoline can, toolbox with tools, cycle jack, and grease gun.
You get to be a mechanic, too.
Wow, complete 3-piece jump ramp, $8.68.
Yeah.
And you can get Evel Knievel figures, posable Evel Knievel action figures. They come in a choice of 3 different color outfits, $1.67 each. And you know one of those was the rare one that's probably worth $5,000 now because it's like the, whatever.
Evel must have hated Big Jim because Big Jim had a dirt bike. He had a
that
Honda.
son of a bitch.
He had to fucking hate this whole line of toys. It all probably spawned from Evel's toy being enormous.
Kids just wanting a dirt bike and a motorcycle of some kind.
And boy toys, boy dolls that are fucking men. These are dudes. These are doing the real thing.
Oh, man, that's fucking hilarious. So, there's an article also after this where old Dusty Russell keeps talking shit.
Stirring the shit, yeah.
He said in one, the longest jump Evel Knievel ever made over a motorcycle is 130 feet. I've hit 176 feet jumping in a car.
Okay.
After the jump, I landed in a row of autos. They picked me up in pieces. I suffered a concussion, internal injuries, broken ribs, smashed nose, cuts, bruises, fractured fingers, but that's part of my business. If I were a football player, I'd be sidelined for the season. As a stunt driver, you keep going. I heal quickly. I've learned to ignore injuries. My face was seared once in an auto daredevil thrill show. Seared, like a tuna.
Like a steak.
Wow. They tied me to the hood of a car, soaked in gasoline, and my driver raced through a flaming barrier. What a hot sensation. But I wasn't barbecued. Heck, I didn't even need medical attention. If I were Evel Knievel, I'd have ended up in a hospital for 3 months. He's so injury prone, he breaks a leg just getting off his bike.
Oh, okay.
Wow. He does say he respects him. He says that man has done more than any individual to improve the image of motorcycle riders. He's helped to remove the rowdy reputation. What? He's the craziest of. He makes half the Hell's Angels just go to work and come home and then drink beer on Friday night.
Yeah.
He's way more of a menace than I would say. What, 4 to 5 Hell's Angels is one Evel Knievel? In terms of tearing shit up.
Man. It's certainly not an equivalent 1-to-1 scale there.
No. Absolutely not. Jesus Christ. Evel Knievel's latest stunt here, this is from the newspaper here, December 15th, 1973. Evel Knievel's latest stunt, dash through local stores. Okay. Yes, I'll read this article. Yeah. Yes, Virginia, there is an Evel Knievel and a Baby Alive doll, but unfortunately, Santa's workshop just couldn't keep up with the demand this year.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, this is crazy shit. This is
They ran out.
The first year, remember I was talking about that, they couldn't sell enough of them this year. Everybody wanted one.
Enough of them.
They couldn't make enough. Yeah, they said if we would have made this many, we would have sold that many. Yeah. And the next year is when it's like the biggest thing in the fucking world. Wow. They said frustrated parents have been searching stores throughout the community looking for both items, and retailers can only shake their heads sadly at the inquiries.
It's got to be the first one, right? First time ever that happened.
It's one of, that's the first Tickle Me Elmo or whatever the fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger was fighting Sinbad about in that one movie. Turbo Man or some shit.
Hartman was in it too.
Oh yeah, he's in the mix. Absolutely.
Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way. There you go. The manager of a Moore's store said, "I don't think there's a ghost of a chance of finding either one of them anywhere, meaning a Baby Alive or an Evel Knievel. The most amazing thing I have ever seen. Both items are TV toys, which have been promoted with television advertising." They said the television promotions created the demand and then they can't supply them, another manager said. It's ridiculous to spend millions on advertising, then not supply them.
Right.
One woman told this manager of being mugged in a Columbus department store after she picked up the last Evel Knievel in the store. Another woman hit her in the back, grabbed the toy, and ran away through the store.
Mugged her for it. The first
God.
one was Mr. Potato Head.
Oh, that was a big deal.
That was a big one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Bill Towner, manager of the toy department at Penny's, said the popularity of the plastic gyroscope-powered motorcycle and stunt rider toy is something of a fluke. He said retailers order their Christmas toys from spring through midsummer and are usually notified well in advance of which items will receive heavy TV promotion. The Evel Knievel was apparently not intended for heavy promotion, but a movie about the real Evel Knievel and a film clip of his exploits shown on Wide World of Sports made him unexpectedly popular.
Yeah.
No one expected any of this. So
there's never been a toy either that was like so complicated, because this thing had a thing that it did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It jumped.
It took off, and it was it's awesome. There's never been any other toy that people fucking flocked for that did things.
That actually wasn't just like tickle me and I'll giggle.
Yeah.
Gee, thanks. Great.
Furbies that learned things and shit like that.
Yeah. So January 3rd, 1974, CBS is planning a 30-minute action series based on the exploits of famed motorcycle stunt driver Evel Knievel next fall.
Here we go.
The Viacom Corp will film the pilot for a series in late January. Name of the show, Evel Knievel. Yeah, that makes sense. Cast hasn't been announced, but Knievel himself will provide the thrills at the tracks, fairgrounds, and other places where he performs his shit. So there you go. Let's see, January 13th, 1974, they ask, quote, what's this about Evel Knievel getting into the motorcycle repair business on a franchise basis? This is a Q&A to a newspaper. The answer is the motorcycle daredevil is joining the ranks of Esther Williams Swimming Pools and Lassie Kennels with Evel Knievel Electro-Cycle Service Centers, a 25-unit chain specializing in rapid repairs. The centers will see no evil since it's merely being paid by the company for the use of his name. Now he's doing naming rights shit. They're just paying for his name. Wow. Okay, here we go. February 15th, 1974. Planning to jump the Snake Canyon again. Now he's ready.
Snake River
Canyon. He's ready to go. He said, everybody will be shocked when they see how far I can jump. I'll go as far as 2 Grand Canyons, maybe. He said, my guess is that this is the science guy, the Robert Trow guy, said, my guess is that he has an 80% chance of survival.
Okay.
You built it. Make it higher.
Yeah, it's on you, bud.
He said, I wouldn't put my butt on that thing, I'll tell you. Yeah.
You built it.
You built it, but he's like, he's fucking crazy. Yeah. The science guy, again, says it's a horrendous canyon. Vertical walls, 1,600 feet across, a 500-foot drop, very rocky at the bottom, rough, swift-looking water. It's the kind of thing you want to get across. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say. You don't want to land in it, probably. That would be best to do that. But they keep going on, and he says he can do it. And the science guy is like, listen, I built a thing. I mean, it's the Sky Cycle 2 is what they're calling it here. Trow said one day, 3 or 4 years ago, Trow called and said he was terribly, terribly unhappy with the service and had asked him, do you do small jobs? So we did parts and pieces on the Knievel stuff. Then 2 years ago, he suddenly called and said, are you ready to do the whole thing? Because I won't pay my fucking guy to do it. So will you do it?
80% chance. And he's going a mile, and he says he's doing 2. He has enough power to do 2 Grand Canyons.
Yeah,
2 Grand
right
Canyon.
over.
How far is the Grand Canyon? Miles. 5, right?
It's so fucking wide. At the one point he was going to go, it was a mile. That was the smallest point.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's like, that's a bitch move. I can get way over that. Now, I'm going to end this with a good cliffhanger for next time.
Yeah.
In order to make this jump here, he needs some help. He needs a promoter, and he needs somebody to help pay for it. He needs everything. And I'll read from the book, and then we will stop here. The oft-promised canyon jump, no more than professional whimsy for such a long time, a professionally painted line on the trailer, a subject for discussion on the talk shows, then not much more than a home workshop daydream for the Rocket Boys, Malowicki and Trow, finally became an actual possibility in the first months of 1974. That was when 28-year-old promoter Vince McMahon Jr. showed up in Butte.
Oh, boy.
Let's leave it there. Next Evil show is going to be the meeting of Evel Knievel and Vince McMahon, the two most full of shit men who've ever lived. That's going to be fucking amazing.
30-year-old McMahon. That's crazy.
That is wild. Yeah, he was nobody. He lived in a trailer at this point.
Wow.
Vince. He was nobody. So there you go. We'll leave it there at Vince McMahon. So that's Evel Knievel Part 5. Hope you're enjoying this Evel Knievel series
great.
because I never want it to end. It's the greatest thing ever. I just love Evel Knievel stories.
People he knew intimately.
You know, that's what I mean. The people he gets involved with, the degrees of separation on Evel Knievel is crazy. It's fucking crazy.
It's one.
It's one to everything. So definitely, if you enjoy this show and if you're enjoying the series and if you're enjoying the entire Crime and Sports library, get on whatever app you're listening on and give us 5 stars. It does help a lot. We don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know how the computer shit works with their algorithms, but you know what? Give it a shot and do it. So hang out with us. Do that. Also, follow us on social media at Crime and Sports. You should listen to our other 2 shows, Small Town Murder and Your Stupid Opinions, which are fucking hilarious and good stuff. So you should listen to those as well. You should definitely also head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets to live Small Town Murder shows and the virtual live Small Town Murder show, the 420 virtual live show. It takes place Saturday, April 19th, and it's just like a regular live show. We're going to be in costumes. I'm going to be forcing Jimmie to smoke copious amounts of weed out of very scary apparatus. It's going to be fun stuff. Oh, you're going to love it. Don't worry about that. You always do. We're going to have a great time with that. Anywhere in the world with internet, you can watch this show, and it's available for 2 weeks after that. You can buy it anytime. You can watch it 100 times in that time period. Do whatever you want with it. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Also, tickets for regular live shows. Next up is St. Louis and Chicago. I think St. Louis is sold out. So Chicago, get your asses in there and come see us. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com.
There you
go. Crime in Sports. This is where you get all of your bonus materials. Anybody $5 a month or above, not only do you get new ones every other week, there's a catalog of hundreds of bonus episodes you've never heard before, and you get them immediately upon subscription. Then new ones every other week. One Crime in Sports, one Small Town Murder. This week, again, no different. This week, what we have for Crime in Sports, we are going to talk about more sports songs.
Yeah.
More people singing. There's more Manny Pacquiao. There's other Chris Webber's rapping we'll talk about. We'll get into that.
Call timeouts. Don't sing.
Yeah, you can't even call a timeout right. Let's not write a song here. Then, and we'll have to.
Timing is bad.
You know, at some point, that Miami football song may come up again. It just might. You never know. You might have to hear Olsen talking about his third leg at some point.
Fucking guy has so much work.
You never know. He has so much work.
Can't believe it.
And then for Small Town Murder, we're going to talk about Louis Carlucci, which you're like, who the fuck is that? He's one of the craziest guys ever. Yeah. He's a New York City con man in the 80s, and he was married to all these women, conning all these women at the same time. He had disguises and aliases and shit, and they were trying to track him down. He was like this big mystery in New York City for like so long where they tried to figure out who he was.
Right.
He's known as Con Juan, which is fucking hilarious, and the con man Casanova as well. So we'll find out about him and a lot more. It's going to be a fun weekend of Patreon stuff there. Patreon.com/CrimeandSports. And you get a shout out at the end of the show, which is right now. Jimmie, hit me with the names of the people who would never, ever, ever want us to fly over a canyon at 300 miles an hour and crash miles into the wilderness on the other side. Hit me with them right now.
The executive producers are Dixie Wrecked, James. Obviously, that's a real person.
Clearly.
Gary Howard, Samantha
Thanks,
Shorts,
Gary.
And Cindy Wilson's husband, Ken. Happy birthday,
Thank
Ken.
you, Lord. Happy
Ken
birthday
Wilson.
to Ken.
I think it's
Salute.
Wilson. I hope I got that right.
Well, salute, Ken.
She just said her husband, Ken. She didn't give a last name of Ken. She may not have taken his last name. I don't know.
Well, Ken, happy birthday either way.
Happy birthday to all those Kens out there. Other producers, Peyton Meadows, Paul Shornack, Janice Hill, Jeff with no last name, Bronwyn Touche, or Touch It. I don't know.
Or Touch It. That could be it.
Chrissy Tatro, Nick Baldridge, Dan with no last name, Chelsea Liswell, David Ick. Your last name is not Ick. Icky? Is it Ick?
His dad, his mother. Well, his mother, her name was Donna Gross, so she changed it anyway. She was like, "I'll take Ick over Gross."
Took his name. Spike Adalika, John Ezell, Rachel Bruthauer. Brett Hauer, maybe? I don't know. Kyle Jacobs, Kevin Allman, Nicole with no last name, Olivia Kaufman, Alan Parker, Ashley Ortiz, Eric McDowell, Linda with no last name, Donna Richards, Mary Charles, Kyle Garner, Kate Blodgett, Sam, Mastriciolo,
Hey.
Master Colo? Fucking this.
Something Italian.
Hey, sounds delicious. Caitlin Hardy, David Spear, Jody Timmons, Abby Newton, Tana Smith, Rachel MC, Xavier Taggart, Elena Osterbar, Madison Duncan, Bethany with no last name, Anna Borst, Neil Shabazi, Valru with no last name, Dr. Laura Dolly, PMP, MBA, EA. I don't know what any of those are except for letters. The business management one. That's
a lot of letters.
You.
Good for you.
Oh, administration. It's not even management, right? I don't know what that means.
I don't know what it is either. We didn't go to college, remember. We're idiots.
Michelle Wagner, Taylor M., Ted Dougherty, Camille Jones, Christine Nida, Anastasia Chambers, Jimmy Bombardo, Matt with no last name, Cameron Kovac, Simone Andronaco, Kevin Hartsock, Patricia.
The Gins are coming out of the woodwork for you today, Jim. They're
a real nightmare.
They're burning
Patricia
you up.
Carroll, Cheyenne Gray, Crystal Barber, Combe, Heffernan, Colm, Colm. That's a first name. Good for you. Michael Deloach, Pauline Crane, Jenny McGuire, Corgi Mom, Ash with no last name, Candace Harris, Nixie Nimbus, Christy Ojai, I don't know, Caitlin Brigman, Mandy Lee, Cody Reichert, Caitlin Hartman, Rachel Smith, Kathleen with no last name, Helene Jackson, Jen with no last name, James Taylor, Beefy with no last name, Amy, that's a real person, I'm sure, Amy Late, Latay, Christian with no last name, Kim Nichols, Sam Penner, Jenna Cornett, probably Jim's daughter, Jeff Severson, the better Trolka, I don't know, James Loves Perkins. Oh, that's very funny. James loves Perkins.
You know my love of Perkins. Absolutely.
Rob Wagner, PRVA, Perva. Is that a disease? I don't know. Rachel Mays, Amanda Pack, Danielle K, Scott Hazel possibly, Robin with no last name, Aaron Ferguson, Anthony Bernardo, what is that? Barnabo. All right, Barnabo. Dang with no last name. Don't be a Hobart. Lee Carter, Devin Rice, Dustin Lumley, Sarah Chamberlain, Tammy Calloway. Also, if you see out there in the wild, one Mandy Maloon, give her our best. She's not in a good way. Haley Whalen, Mo with no last name. Out. God damn it, Mandy, get it together. We're rooting on you every day.
We love you, man. Always.
Nathan Woolrab, T. Dong, James, that's probably a real person. Cody Peruzzi, Peter Jones, Rachel Olson, Melissa Johnson, Daniel Podlevsky, Crystal Cox, Yvette Ivy, Taney Hibbler, Amy B, Justice with no last name, Maria Teresa Beal. That feels like a nun somewhere.
It really does. Sister Maria Teresa Beal.
John Stretch, Jay Turnbull Sabatino, Asia Burns, Natasha Nussbaum, Ashton with no last name, Molly with no last name, Dolores with no last name, TJ Swain, Stacy Cox, Paul Gorman, Teresa with no last name, Charles Herman, Kathy, what is this? Eakin, Regina Elliott, Dakota Banks, Ashley Leffler, Samuel McJunkins, all right, Kenneth Anderson, Amanda Pung, Russell Paddock, all right, sorry about that, Heather McAfee, Devin Acevedo, Amy Wellendorf, Carol Reinheimer, AMPR. That sounds like a radio station. Brandy Hensler, Sarah Minga, Burrell, Phil Thompson, John Calamia, Tara Brennan, Kelly Fawcett, and all of our patrons. You guys are the best.
Thank you, everybody, so much for everything that you do for us. Honestly, we could not do the show without you because you are the source of everything. So thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for your money and your time and for passing this to other people. And, thanks for being a decent bunch of people. True. If you happen to, like Jimmie said, come across Mandy Maloon, and if you know her, if you've been friends with her on social media like a lot of you have.
Whatever it takes, get her back.
Send her some support. Send her some support. She could use it at this time. And hey, we got your back, Mandy. And we hope everything's good for you. Honestly, we just we root for you, and we always have. So just know that. Know that you got friends here. So thank you so much, everybody. You want to follow us on social media, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Drop down menus will take you anywhere you need to be. Yeah. Thank you so much. Live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Are you captivated by the dark and mysterious world of true crime? Wondery Plus offers you the ultimate true crime experience with early access to new episodes, exclusive content, and a seamless ad-free listening journey. With Wondery Plus, you'll get access to hundreds of podcasts, including more than 50 true crime series like Dr. Death, the shocking true story of a trusted surgeon who brought unimaginable pain and suffering to his patients.
This was not an operation that was performed. This was attempted murder.
And there's Morbid, the hit podcast that's a lighthearted nightmare. With Wondery Plus, you get access to exclusive bonus content too, allowing you to dive deeper into the cases you love, like in Suspect, where an ordinary Halloween party turned into a terrifying murder mystery that left its mark on the community.
This case is one of those roller coaster rides where it's like, no, he did it for sure. No, for sure he did it.
Each story is crafted to keep you enthralled, revealing the complexities and motivations behind every crime. Subscribe to Wondery Plus on the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify today. Unlock the door to a world of true crime like never before. With Wondery Plus, the best true crime stories are always at your fingertips.